club in the city with high-profile opponents in town in the shape of Manchester United, who, let's face it, have had a miserable campaign. And yet, there is always the redemptive power of football. There's always the chance that this could click into place. They could win the Europa League. They could be celebrating with a trophy. They could be back in the Champions League next season. That is all tantalisingly almost within grasp of Manchester United. As the players go into a huddle down below us, Bruno Fernandes leading the team talk in there, trying to rouse one big performance from his team here, and they're going to need to be good, Manchester United, because Lyon are no mugs. They've won 6 of their last 7 games in all competitions. They beat Lille on Saturday to get back up into the mix for Champions League through the league for the next campaign as well. We're about to get underway. Manchester United unchanged from the Manchester derby at Old Trafford on Sunday. Lyon have made 4 changes from their last league game, the win against Lille. And the Georgian, George Mikowadze, steps inside the centre circle and prepares to get this Europa League quarter-final first leg underway. This is 5 Live from the BBC. We're live tonight on BBC Sounds. Coverage of the golf from the Masters in Augusta continues on Sports Extra, but we're concentrating on the football here. We are underway, Lyon playing from right to left as we look down. The Manchester United fans are housed high up, right at the top of the stand, far side of the pitch from us, up in the top right corner. We've heard they've had trouble getting here. There was issues with the trams from the city centre, the stadium, which is out on the edge of the town, but it looks like most of them have got here. There's a big contingent filling that area, and there's the first boos and cheers of the night. When you hear that, you'll know Andre Onana has the ball.
Yeah, you don't need to commentate on that bit, do we? Yeah, they swapped ends actually, both sides. I don't know who won the toss, but there was a switch of ends, and Onana is absorbing that atmosphere from the ultras in this first half.
If you're Andre Onana, if you had a choice, would you say, right, let's get it over with, first half, go on, shout, ring in my ears, and I'll get relative quiet the other end, or would you try and put it off to the second half if you could?
I'd do it this way round, the way that they've done it. If they did win the toss and they chose to change, that's probably why.
Yeah, face up to your fears. Delayed play here, because Alejandro Garnacho's been caught and he's slow to get back up to his feet. Harry Maguire is coming to have a word with the Swedish referee, Glenn Nyberg, one of UEFA's more experienced officials. Pablo Fonseca, who's the Lyon coach, who is in the technical area this evening. You might have heard the story. He's currently serving a 9-month touchline ban for confronting a referee in the French league last month. Now, that only applies to domestic fixtures. He's not allowed to go on the touchline, but he is allowed in that technical area this evening in the Europa League. Harry Maguire inside his penalty area gives it to Lenny Yoro on the left-hand side. Dorgu now under pressure. There's a high press from Lyon, who I'm sure would have been watching Paris Saint-Germain's performance against Villa last night and thinking that's how you get out a Premier League team. United get the free kick here. Lenny Yoro to take it on the edge of the penalty area. But early indicators here is that Lyon are not going to sit back. They are going to go and bite at Manchester United's defenders as they try to play it out.
Spot on. They're going to use the atmosphere that they generate from Lyon pressing high, trying to win the ball back. Caused a foul in that instance, but that is where they want to target Manchester United.
The Lyon team, Brazilian goalkeeper Lucas Perry plays behind a back four containing Ainsley Maitland-Niles, the England international, the former Arsenal West Brom player, Clinton Mata and Musa Nikate, formerly of Nottingham Forest, are the 2 central defenders. Nicolas Tagliafico, well-renowned Argentinian international left-back, former Ajax player. He knows many of the Manchester United players, by the way, former teammate of De Ligt, Lisandro Martinez, Mazraoui, Andre Onana. They all played together at Ajax. Another delay here. It's Clinton Mata, who is down, and he needs some treatment, so the physios are coming on. The 3 in the midfield for Lyon tonight: the captain Tolisso, the French international. Then there's the Ivorian Paul Ako-Uoko, with Jordan Virtu, former Aston Villa player, who was in the Marseille team that reached the semi-finals of this competition last season. The front 3, Ryan Cherki, big things expected of him, came through as a wonder kid a few years ago, and he's beginning to live up to that billing now. George Mikowadze, the Georgian, 8 goals in his last 6 games. He'll be the central attacker tonight for Lyon. And Thiago Almada, another Argentinian international who's on loan from Botafogo, and he scored his first goal of this season a couple of games ago against Le Havre. We're still waiting for Mata to get back to his feet, so we're not missing any live action here. 5 Live from the BBC. The Europa League in France tonight in Lyon, with the Manchester United team of Andre Onana behind 3 central defenders, Mazraoui, Maguire and Yoro, just as it was at the start of the derby on Sunday. Dallo and Dorgu, the wing-backs. Manuel Ugarte alongside Casemiro in the midfield, and then Bruno Fernandes and Alejandro Garnacho in support of Rasmus Højlund. And Clinton Mata is still not up, so we'll take advantage of a break in the action here to check on how Tottenham have got started up against Frankfurt in this competition. Henry Moran is watching.
Very lively start here, both sides really going for it. Everything that became between Spurs and Southampton here in the Premier League on Sunday wasn't. There's such energy, vibrance in the crowd, on the field. No side creating a chance as yet, but you just sense this game is tingling, sparkling, 0-0.
Tingling and sparkling at Tottenham. What about Rangers against Atletico Bilbao? The winner of this tie plays the winner of that one in the semis. Ailey Barber.
An absolutely electric atmosphere inside Ibrox tonight. It is so loud, and Rangers have created their first real opportunity of the game. Václav Černý cutting onto that left foot. His effort, though, high and wide of the Athletic Bilbao net. It is a fascinating one here with Rangers making all those changes. It's still 0-0.
Thanks very much, Ailey. So Mata has just come back on for Lyon. They're back to 11. Manchester United have possession, playing from left to right as we look down. Fantastic stadium, this real modern arena, third biggest stadium in France. As Yoro here tries to get away from Cherki. He's got Dorgu available outside. It's an early ball up to the centre circle. Good link-up play by Rasmus Højlund to feed it to Dallo on the right-hand side. And he's cut in field. And that creates a bit of room for Garnacho, who crosses from the right-hand side. And a good block by Akiwoko. Garnacho's been able to keep the ball in play. Then that looks like a trip on Garnacho. Free kick to Manchester United. Crossing position on the right-hand side. Now that was good. That was positive from Dallo especially. Getting the head down, driving at Lyon, and asking questions of the French defence.
Yeah, the first touch for Højlund as well. Coming in, dropping deep, linking play, protecting the ball. Fizzes it out to Garnacho. He gets into that isolated situation with Dallo around him. Really good for Manchester United.
0-0 here. So often there are early goals in games involving Spurs, and tonight, Henry Moran.
It is Spurs 0, Eintracht Frankfurt 1. This young, thrilling French talent, Hugo Ekitike, 20th of the season. Spurs stood back. He fired low into the corner. Spurs 0, Frankfurt 1.
Definitely noise in Lyon as Bruno Fernandes takes the free kick, right-footed, great delivery, and just about shoveled away. It bounced on the edge of the 6-yard box. Casemiro attacked it at the front post, and I think it was somehow cleared away by Tolisso and out for a corner.
Yeah, it was a fantastic ball across from Bruno Fernandes. How many times have we sent that? He fizzes it across into a space with pace, and it's almost an own goal. Just goes over.
Corner to Manchester United, 0-0. Early stages of this Europa League quarter-final first leg. They will meet this night next week at Old Trafford. Again, we'll have commentary of that game here on 5 Live. Bruno Fernandes prepares to take it. Between scoring and assists, he's now the player with most goal involvements, not just in the Europa League this season, but in Europa League history. And he stands with his hands on his hips, and he waits for the referee's indication. There's all sorts of jostling, harrowing for position. Casemiro's very agile in there, making a lot of movement, trying to wriggle into some space, but it's a disappointing delivery for Bruno Fernandes, and it's cleared away by the first defender, and Dorgu has to play it back to Mazraoui. A little bit of a soft pass from Dorgu there. Mazraoui's able to deal with it, but then the tackle comes in from Cherki, and Manchester United, for what should have been a very easy situation to get back on the attack there, have given away the ball inside their own half. Look at Bruno Fernandes shouting at the defenders there that they should have done better and been more decisive.
Yeah, he wanted the ball in behind Bruno Fernandes. His body language, he's just telling his teammates, just fizz it into the space he was on. But it was a little bit sloppy from Dorgu there, and that is exactly what I am talking about. There is an incentive applied to any mistake Manchester United make, that this stadium will erupt and the fans will really start to get on board.
Ainsley Maitland-Niles playing it right back for Lyon this evening. He played in the Europa League final for Arsenal in 2019. As good work from Højlund here as one possession for Manchester United in the midfield. And then Ugarte's return pass to the Dane was weak and short. And big roar from the Lyon fans as they recapture possession. And here they come now, over the halfway line down the right-hand side. Manchester United working hard to get bodies back behind the ball. Tolisso passes it into the midfield. Jordan Veretout, 32 years of age now, former French international. Tolisso on the left wing with the white boots. Garnacho hovering close to him. And it's played back to Moussa Niakate. Lyon spent over £30 million to sign him from Nottingham Forest last summer. Lyon holding on to possession here, but Manchester United not allowing it to be comfortable possession. Bruno Fernandes and then Rasmus Højlund both go sprinting up. to apply a bit of pressure and force Lyon to play it back to the goalkeeper, Perry.
Yeah, it's good shape for Manchester United. We saw it on Sunday in the derby. They were really disciplined and tight and compact, and I'm actually just keeping my eye on Casemiro. He's got quite a static role in there, but I actually think in a game like this it might be quite effective.
This is Niakate at the back for Lyon, rolling it to Clinton Mata, who played against Manchester United in the past in this competition with Bruges. It was a two-legged tie like this one. They drew the first one. They were beaten 5-0 at Old Trafford in the second leg. The memory of that, I'm sure, will spur him on to feel Lyon need to establish a first leg lead here in France. In a week that we've seen contrasting outcomes for the English teams in Europe. What a night for Arsenal on Tuesday. Much more difficult for Aston Villa last night in Paris against a rampant Paris Saint-Germain. And who knows which way this is going to go here. Lyon against Manchester United tonight. It's 0-0 for the moment as Ainsley Maitland-Niles, orange boots, comes up over the halfway line with long strides. There's no one marking here in the midfield. Look at this for space as Mikoadze is able to roll it to the left wing. Veer 2 has a little look up, doesn't rush things, wants to pick a careful pass here. Tolisso makes himself available. Back again to Clinton Mata, urged to shoot by some Lyon fans even though he's miles out. They hold on to possession. It's Cherki wide on the right hand side. Bruno Fernandes the closest defender to him. This is crisp, short-range passing from Lyon. They keep it moving, 2-3 touches each at most, as Cherki delivers into the penalty area. No one marking Tagliafico. He heads it down, and Dallo is able to head it out for a corner. Corner to Lyon as their fans roar behind that goal.
Oh, it's a wonderful bit of build-up play from Lyon. You know, really crisp, like you say, Connor. The passing, the authority around it. And that is brilliant, getting the full-back, the left-back high into that space, and it's a brilliant little interception from Dallo just to stop that ball arriving into the box.
These teams who have met in the past in the Champions League, plenty history between them. Corner is going to be played in from the left-hand side, and most of the Lyon players have taken a position towards the back post, sort of like the Arsenal routine. Then they disperse around the penalty area. As the cross comes in from Thiago Almada, Manchester United survive that. The ball goes out of play. It would in fact be a Manchester United throw. And Bruno Fernandes roars at Garnacho and he says, come on, here's a chance. Throws it in front of Garnacho, but too far ahead of him. And Veer 2 is able to sweep back and play it to the goalkeeper. 0-0 it remains.
Yeah, it's good tracking back from Veer 2 there. He just wrecked the run of Garnacho. Bruno Fernandes, in typical Bruno Fernandes fashion, he just wants to play quickly, use the space, release Garnacho. But Veer 2 snuffed it out.
Well, he's had criticism from some quarters this season, Bruno Fernandes, but 7 goals in his last 9 games in all competitions. He has been the driving force. Manchester United, an imperfect team, that's for sure, but many would argue that were it not for Bruno Fernandes, where would they be? As Tolisso here rolls the ball back to Niakate again, inside his own half. Lyon playing right to left and wide. Tolisso gets it back inside Manchester United territory, forces the ball in front of Mikoadze. And the Georgian takes on Dallo. Good acceleration into the penalty area. Mazraoui sweeping across, defends really well, because not only does he make the tackle, he ensures the last touch goes off George Mikoadze, and that is a goal kick to Andre Onana, and a goal kick for Manchester United away to our left-hand side. So Lyon 0, Manchester United 0, is it?
Yeah, it's been a really good spell for Lyon. Really authoritative on the ball, you know, dictating play. They're having a lot of success finding the midfielders on the half turn in between Højlund and Garnacho, and Casemiro and Ugarte, and that is causing Manchester United a problem.
You will hear the cheers because Onana has possession. There is a red card at Ibrox. Ailey Barber.
And it's gone the way of Rangers defender Robin Proper. He took down Inaki Williams right on the edge of the penalty area. He was the last line of defence, denied a goal-scoring opportunity, and the referee, after a VAR check, has sent him off, and now Nico Williams places the ball, and they're about to take the free kick. Still Rangers 0, Athletic Bilbao 0.
Thanks very much, Ailey. So Tottenham behind, Manchester United being held level here in France at Lyon, where Clinton Mata has possession for the home side, rolls it into the midfield to Paul Akuyuoko, one of 4 changes that Paulo Fonseca has made tonight from the league game at the weekend. They've played it out to the left wing again, looking for Mikoadze. He's a diminutive player, couple of step-overs, gets away from Mazraoui, clips it across, but too close to Onana, and the Cameroonian is able to gather it high above his head.
Yeah, Mikoadze, he's hugging this left-hand touchline. He's keeping the width to the absolute maximum, and it's the total opposite to what Manchester City did against Manchester United on Sunday in the derby. and he's had so much success getting in beyond Dalot, and that's going to cause Manchester United another problem.
It was back to Brats last night in Paris when Aston Villa were given a tough night by Paris Saint-Germain, and there Georgian Kvaratskhelia played a brilliant performance, scored a goal, but he attacked in the left wing and he was dangerous all night, and you can see that his compatriot Mikotadze here trying to do an impersonation of that, because he's had a bright swashbuckling start to the game on the left hand side. Onana picks a good pass into the midfield. Casemiro helps it on to Bruno Fernandes. Now this is ahead of Dorgu, but not the right angle. It actually had the right pace for Bruno Fernandes, but it was veering away from Dorgu, too close to the defenders. Right idea for Bruno Fernandes, just not the right execution.
Yeah, spot on. It's exactly how close it is to Manchester United being successful and not being successful in the final third. The space was there to be used, to be ran into, but Niakate, centre back for Lyon, he just read it really well and came across and put the fire out.
We have played a quarter of an hour. Lyon 0, Manchester United 0 on 5 Live for the BBC in the Europa League. Mazraoui wins the header, but Tolisso gets it back for Lyon. Mikotadze fouled surely by Ugarte. Referees just play on because Lyon still have possession. Well, there's been a few heavy tackles have gone in this opening quarter of an hour already. Here is Mikotadze again trying to get in ahead of Mazraoui, who's not been able to fully clear. And the Georgian gets a touch in here. Cherki tries to give it out to Tagliafico on the left-hand side. This is level at the edge of the penalty area that Lyon attack. They've got a good pace to their game here in the early stages. What a lovely backheel that is. Chance to shoot for Tolisso, and it's Casemiro who gets his body in the way. And the ball ricochets all the way back to the halfway line. Good pressure this for the French team.
Tell you what, you got to just sit back and admire some of that attacking play. That is sensational to watch, and it's the first time we've mentioned Cherki in the game. He's on that right-hand side. He's come inside to get the ball, get it popping about, and my word, he's effective.
Cherki, who looks the business. No player has provided more assists in the Europa League this season, or in fact in any previous Europa League season. He's been an assist machine for Lyon through this campaign. And he's already nearly created one or two things tonight. As Mikotadze plays the ball back into his own half. Tagliafico, lots of time. The press from Manchester United not as urgent as what we see from their host this evening, when Manchester United try to play it out for the back. Lyon really get at them. But Harry Maguire does win back possession here inside his own half. Rolls it to the left-hand side to Lenny Yoro. Yoro, who played the full game against Manchester United on Sunday. That's only the third time that he's completed a full 90 minutes in the Premier League so far. Still young, remember, Lenny Yoro, who turned 19 in November and back on French soil tonight. A young French teenager. Mazraoui to Dalot. Manchester United still inside their own half here. And Lyon are making it difficult for Ruben Amorim's team to break into the other end of the pitch.
They are, but this is a good little spell for Manchester United just to get their foot on the ball, not force it, but that's exactly what they've done.
Nice touch there from Tagliafico. Kind of salted dummy, which Ugarte bought. Big cheer from the crowd as the Uruguayan went tumbling, and Tagliafico came forward with possession. Lyon have it with Niakate on the back, rolls it to his right-hand side to Clinton Mata. Lyon tonight without Ernest Nuama, who's been one of their better attackers this season. He picked up a knee injury in the win against Lyon on Saturday, and that has now been confirmed as a season-ending injury, so he won't be involved in the second leg next week either. Tolisso here, 10 yards outside his own penalty area, is fouled by Ugarte. Free kick to Lyon, and it's the difference between pressure in a press that puts your opponents on edge and pressure that just gives away free kicks, and Manchester United need to get that balance right.
Spot on, absolutely spot on, but it's a lovely balance of rhythm to Lyon's play.
Here's Dorgu, nice little touch by Bruno Fernandes to send him in the penalty area. Hoyland fluffs his shot. Well, the Dane needs goals, and he doesn't get many opportunities, but by the standards of this season, that was a big chance, and he scuffed the shot. Moments like that, he's got to get a clean connection. Dorgu pulled it back perfectly, and Rasmus Hoyland can have no complaints for anyone else there. He's just miscued his attempt.
Yeah, Manchester United high press, win the ball back. Dorgu breaks on that left-hand side. I'm just watching a replay. He has to do better. He doesn't connect with the ball. He drags at it. He snatches at it. 5 goals already in the Europa League this season. That should have been his 6th.
It does feel like he can't catch a break, Rasmus Hoyland. I'm sure he's a great guy, and he tries his hard and he runs his socks off, but he's not getting the goals, and that was an opportunity. At least test the goalkeeper. Inside the box, unable to hit the target. Here come Lyon, down the right-hand side. Ryan Chucky, right-footed ball into the middle, a little bit too high for the players in the centre, comes all the way through to Tagliafico, who's up from left back, and then a miscue from Mazraoui keeps Manchester United under pressure. The Moroccan has put it out for a corner. Corner to Lyon on the left-hand side. Izzy Christensen.
Cheap from Mazraoui, really doesn't need to concede that corner there. You know, there's a little bit of a bouncing ball at the back stick, headed back across, and Mazraoui, he's under pressure from Tolisso, but that is a cheap corner to concede.
So let's see if Thiago Almada is able to create anything here. Huddle of Lyon players all grouped together as Almada prepares to take the corner, and it's a rehearsed move. It's rolled short, back to the Argentinian, an in-swinger then, which Dallo will head back out, and it'll be another corner, and the ultras behind that goal are really enjoying this. This is a city you know well, you used to play here. They love their football in these parts.
They really do. The fierce rivalry domestically with Paris Saint-Germain, of course, but European nights here are different.
They absolutely give it everything. Proper 12th man effort from the Lyon fans. Here comes the corner, played in, headed out by Casemiro, shot back in by Almada, but he didn't catch it cleanly. Skewed off the outside of his boot, and Thiago Almada sends the ball into the crowd.
You can feel the pressure from Lyon starting to build and build and build. They'll have gained so much confidence from this opening 20 minutes or so in the way that they've applied what they want to do. I love the way that they play. Really impressive.
Manchester United, who would love to keep a clean sheet tonight. This evening is the 31st game that Ruben Amorim has been in charge of the club in all competitions. His team have only kept 5 clean sheets in those 30 games before tonight. Can Andre Onana silence some of those boo boys by keeping the clean sheet tonight? Here he is, kicking the ball away. Right-footed up towards the halfway line, where Tolisso jumps and wins the header, but he's given it straight to Harry Maguire, and then Casemiro takes it off the England central defender, but not a good ball from Casemiro, and the ball is played by Maitland-Niles off the shins of Dorgu, and that goes out for a throw-in on the far side. It's the opening day of the Masters. You can listen to commentary over on 5 Live Sports Extra. Here on 5 Live, Kat Downs is going to bring us up to date with how the leaderboard is looking now. Kat.
Justin Rose leads the Masters by 2-shot birdie the first 3 holes, and then the 8th, the 9th and the 10th to move to 6 under par. 2 players tucked in a couple of shots behind him. Another Englishman, Tyrrell Hatton, on 4 under, alongside the defending champion, the world number 1, Scotty Scheffler, and Rory McIlroy at 1 under par is just about getting his back 9 towards the close, but we're keeping a close eye on him, of course, as he tries to chase down Justin Rose at the top of the leaderboard at 6 under par.
Thanks very much, Kat. We will keep you up to date with all events at Augusta here on 5 Live. Coverage across 5 Live, Sports Extra, and the BBC Sport website right the way through to the last day of that competition on Sunday. Lenny Yoro here in Lyon has possession for Manchester United. 0-0 in this Europa League quarter-final first leg. The last chance saloon for Manchester United to win a trophy this campaign. Perhaps even more valuable than the silverware, a route into the Champions League next season. If you win the Europa League, you get into the Champions League, and frankly Manchester United aren't going to do that through the Premier League position, so this is their opportunity, and what a difference it could make. The finances for next season, the players they might be able to recruit. Tonight could be one of those nights that really sets an agenda as to how difficult Ruben Amorim's first full season in charge is going to be next campaign. 0-0 though for the moment. Manchester United or Lyon yet to produce a proper shot on target in this game.
Yeah, there's a big gap. Manchester United have gone high press here. Lyon are really comfortable on the ball building. They've got a really nice little structure to retain.
Good from Garnacho there to win possession, and then Ugarte's flick picks out Diogo Dallo, sent in a low cross on the right hand side. Bruno Fernandes let it run under his feet, but Virtu knew what he was going to do there. Jordan Virtu was able to clear the ball away. It's a good idea from Bruno Fernandes. It's one of those, if it works, it's brilliant, but when it doesn't work, it looks like, could you have done a little bit better there? Dallo to the byline down the right-hand side. Garnacho pulls it back. Bruno Fernandes shot deflects out for a corner. Now that was hit well. He put the laces through it, Bruno Fernandes, but it clipped off a defender. That's the best we've seen for the visitors so far, and Bruno Fernandes gets a corner for his team.
Yeah, it's a perfect ball in from Garnacho. A beautiful weight. The cutback is absolutely beautiful in terms of an invitation for Bruno Fernandes to smack it first time. He's unlucky.
The boos as Bruno Fernandes waits to take The corner, right-hand side as Manchester United come forward. Floats it in high. Harry Maguire jumps, but it's too high for him. Dorgu is going to sprint out to try and keep it in play on the left-hand side, and he's done well to get to the ball ahead of Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Dorgu sends it back in. Not a bad return at all. And then an attempted bicycle kick was on target from Casemiro, but saved by the goalkeeper, Lucas Perry. That was a proper bit of Brazilian flair from Casemiro, who nearly turned back the years spectacularly there.
Yeah, you wouldn't put it past him at all, would you? Beautiful bit of improvisation from Casemiro off the second phase on that corner, but just watching Maguire peeling off the back post, that could be a problem for Lyon, because Harry Maguire, in my opinion, is one of the best at timing his runs when he arrives into the area to attack crosses. That could be a really effective tool for Manchester United.
Harry Maguire, who has scored 3 goals this season across all competitions. He has had 1 in the Europa League already. 0-0 here tonight. In this competition. This is 5 Live from the BBC live in Lyon this evening. There's a game in League 2 tonight. Crew against Cheltenham, and Cheltenham have taken the lead in that one midway through the first half. Crew 0, Cheltenham 1 as Lyon get a free kick here. A foul on Nicolas Tagliafico. This is about 10 yards outside the penalty area. Left-hand side. It's not a shooting position, but it's a good angle here to try and send in a cross, is it?
It's a really good kind of feature to what Lyon are doing. They're getting Tagliafico, the left-back, really high, getting him involved. He's coming inside and he's going outside, making it quite unpredictable, which is exactly how to exploit this system that Manchester United are playing. And like you say, they're really good position on this free kick. An in-swinger with the right foot whipped into that box could cause some damage in here for Manchester United.
Everyone is back defending for the visitors. All the Manchester United players in their dark navy outfits inside their own penalty area, as it's an in-swinger and it bounces away, and Onana's fluffed it, and it's into the net, direct for the free kick. Thiago Almada. Oh, I think Onana's going to be questioned here. It's difficult because the keeper can't commit. He knows any touch he'd have to change direction, but there was no touch, and it just bounced in beyond him. There was not much pace on the ball as it went past the goalkeeper, and Manchester United are behind in Lyon in the Europa League quarter-final. Thiago Almada's goal. VAR are having a look at it, but for now it's Lyon 1, Manchester United 0.
Yeah, the delivery is exquisite in terms of the direction on the football, but also the pace on it as well. Cherky fakes to shoot. He doesn't. Almada attacks it, in-swings it with pace. It drops, it bounces, and Onana, he flaps at it. He really does. It bounces just in front of him, and he's attempted to kind of parry it away, and it's gone into the back of the net beyond him.
It's probably one of the most difficult things that goalkeepers have to face. That, you know, there's a line being held by your defenders. There's that corridor of uncertainty, and the free kick is played in at that angle, that pace, bouncing in the, you know, had it bounced even a few inches in front or behind, it would have been a different, just the place he wouldn't have wanted. And yet, is he? And yet, should he do better?
He's got to judge it. He's got to hold back and watch the flight of the football as it arrives in. I mean, it's absolutely brilliant from Almada in terms of the trajectory on the football. The way it bounces in front of him, the pace on the ball, it almost tempts Onana in to think he can come and parry it.
Goal at Tottenham, Henry.
Is that for Tottenham? Tottenham 1, Eintracht Frankfurt 1, and it's Pedro Porro with a little back heel at the near post from Madison's drag back. Lovely finish from the fullback. Spurs 1, Eintracht Frankfurt 1.
Thanks very much. Nice scene here at Lyon, where in the celebration they got a shirt of Unas Nuamua, the player who picked up that season-ending knee injury on Saturday, and they held up his shirt to let him know his teammates are thinking of him tonight in their moment of breakthrough. Scoring the first goal of this quarter-final. Rewards for good early ambition and pressure from Lyon. They have taken the game to Manchester United in the early phases. They've had a little scare, the shot from Bruno Fernandes, the bicycle kick from Casemiro, but Andre Onana, who has been in the spotlight with the Lyon fans in the build-up to this, he was criticised by Nemanja Matic, forcefully criticised in the press conferences leading up to this game, and Onana has not covered himself in glory there with the goal that separates the teams. And if Manchester United are going to go through to the semi-final, they're going to do it the hard way now. They're going to have to come from behind. They have a free kick near the centre circle. Bruno Fernandes floats it into the box. Casemiro jumps, no clean touch, and out it goes for a goal kick. Goal kick to Lyon, who lead here by a goal to 0 on 5 Live.
The eruption of noise inside the stadium, and I was watching the ultras behind Onana's goal. Almada went off to celebrate down to the left of us into the bottom corner, and all the ultras were just pointing and throwing their arm gestures towards Onana because they think and they know. We're just seeing it on the big screen again. The bounce of the ball in front of him. Oh, he has to do better.
Has to do better. The more you see it, I guess the slow motion replays don't help him because it looks even easier, but that was not a good moment for Andre Onana. We are going to be hearing more about that. In the Conference League tonight, Fiorentina have taken the lead in their game. Earlier on this evening, Chelsea won 3-0 away at Legia in their Conference League quarter-final. It was an early kick-off. Here comes Cherki into the penalty area for Lyon. Onto his left foot, tries to shoot. Yoro's done well to block the angle, to bring possession back outside the penalty area. And helped out here by Casemiro. They should get it away. Mind you, they're making a bit of hard work of it. Dorgu slaloms away from one or two challenges, and he has lost the ball just outside his own penalty area. Needed to be more decisive there. Lyon get it back, and they've got wind in their sails at the moment, the French club. They're 1-0 up, and they're enjoying this, and they know they're making Manchester United uncomfortable. Tolisso in the midfield. Up to Thiago Almada, the goal scorer. Onto his right boot, shoots again. Shot on target, but this one is saved by Onana. It didn't have the pace or the power to trouble him.
They're absolutely destroying Manchester United right now. They really are. They're finding little passes in and around Casemiro and Agate. Bruno Fernandes doesn't know whether to drop or get high up with Højlund. And Lyon are just absolutely dictating everything they're doing. They're looking really sharp and up for it. And Manchester United look a little bit rattled right now.
Earlier on in the Europa League quarter-finals, Bodo Glimt had a remarkable 2-0 win against Lazio in their first leg of their quarter-final. Lyon have taken the lead here. What about Ibrox? Rangers against Athletic Bilbao. Ailey Barber.
Rangers might be down to 10, but they are giving Athletic Bilbao a real game here. Cyril Dessers with an effort that just whistled past the post. Inaki Williams, he had an effort down the other end, well blocked out for a corner. It's a really good game this. It's still Rangers 0, Athletic Bilbao 0.
Manchester United still making mistakes, giving away the ball. This is Cherki just outside the penalty area. Can't get a shot away, rolls it back to his captain. Corentin Tolisso, the former Bayern Munich player. Tagliafico gives it back into a central position, Thiago Almada. And Lyon just passing it around here, frustrating Manchester United. The next 5-10 minutes are key here. Are Manchester United going to respond? You know, in Paris last night, Villa scored first, and they only held the lead for 4 minutes. Paris Saint-Germain were able to bite back and equalise. Can Manchester United do something like that here? As Diogo Dalot picks up a yellow card, he has committed a foul at Tagliafico. No need for a challenge like that on the halfway line. And Dalot now on a yellow card in midway through this first half.
So stupid from Dalot. He slides in. He started the slide way beyond what he needed to do. You can just see what's going to evolve, and that's that he's going to catch Tagliafico late. And that yellow card now makes this really difficult for Dalot and also Manchester United, because Dalot's a big part of what they do offensively. How is he going to cope playing now on a yellow card?
Diogo Dalot, who was sent off in the FA Cup third round at Arsenal earlier on this season. There were a few players, Dalot wasn't one of them, but a few players who would miss the second leg back at Old Trafford next Thursday if they were to receive a yellow card this evening. Casemiro is one of them. Ainsley Maitland-Niles for Lyon, Tolisso, Niakate. For the moment, Tagliafico continues to receive treatment down on the halfway line. Play will resume with a free kick to Lyon shortly. Reminder of what's coming up over the weekend on 5 Live. Of course, there is continued coverage of the Masters from Augusta. But on Saturday, our Premier League 3 o'clock commentary pick is Forest against Everton. And then at 5:30, we will bring you full commentary from the Emirates. Arsenal against Brentford, Premier League tea time Saturday here on 5 Live. On Sunday, there's a choice of listening. 3 games at 2 o'clock on Sunday. We'll bring you Liverpool against West Ham here on 5 Live. You can listen to Chelsea against Ipswich on Sports Extra, and Wolves against Tottenham will be available online on the BBC Sport website, all building up to the big one at 4:30. St James's Park, Newcastle United against Manchester United. Play back underway here. Rasmus Højlund tried to attack, gets into the penalty area from a wide angle, gets a shot on target, but not much power, and a comfortable save from Perry. Izzy.
And I was praising Lyon's structure and build-up play, but that was really sloppy from their captain Tolisso. He just passed it straight to Højlund. He managed to have the space to break into, but again, Højlund arrives in the box, and that shot is tame. It doesn't trouble Perry in any way, shape or form.
Lucas Perry, who was on Crystal Palace's books a few years back, he never made a senior appearance for them, but back during Roy Hodgson's original spell in charge there. Lucas Perry was a goalkeeper at Palace. Here he is between the sticks for Lyon, who lead Manchester United by a goal to nil in this Europa League quarter-final. Casemiro inside the centre circle. Good first touch. Helps the ball on to Bruno Fernandes. 10 yards into the Lyon half. Immediately out to the left wing to Patrick Dorgu, who's now level with the edge of the penalty area. But he looked up to see who was inside him, and he took his eye off the ball, and Ainsley made it on. Said, thank you very much, and Lyon regained possession. And now, with Manchester United having pushed bodies forward, there's chance of a counter-attack here, but Lyon have given it away themselves. Indecisive in the midfield. This is Garnacho. 10 yards outside the penalty area. Tackled by Tagliafico, who did really well to win it back for Lyon there. But there's a high turnover of possession at the moment as Manchester United get it back once again. Dallo to Garnacho, just outside the penalty area. Right-hand side as Manchester United come forward, trying to rebound, having conceded that early Almada goal.
Yeah, Dallo, just interestingly there, Garnacho comes in off the right-hand side. Dallo doesn't get round him. And that's his job. He has to get forward and support Garnacho and get numbers into the attack. But there is nothing from Dallo, and I just wonder if that's because he's been booked. He's afraid of when they lose the ball and he has to make a recovery run, is he going to foul again? But he has to manage the game. He's a top pro, he has to manage the game.
That's a good point. Dallo, who is operating on the right-hand side. And when Manchester United have possession, he's right up there like a winger, allowing Garnacho to play a little bit further infield. Manchester United 1-0 down here in this Europa League quarter-final first leg. Two away visits here to Lyon in the past for Manchester United. Both have been in the Champions League, and on both occasions they came from behind Manchester United and they got draws. They were 2-0 down here in 2004. They came back for 2-2. When they came here in 2008, they were 1-0 down. They came back to draw 1-1. So the spirit of that is what Ruben Amorim is now looking to try and salvage things in this first leg. They don't want to go back to Old Trafford behind ahead of the second leg of this tie. Throw it to Lyon. Nicolas Tagliafico to take. No real urgency now for Lyon. They've got the lead. Takes his time over it here, the Argentinian, 69 caps for his country. Throws the ball into Thiago Almada, and Lyon, of course, a bit of bother needlessly there. Poor back pass to Niakate, who just straight to the byline, and all he could do is put it out for an attacking throw-in to Manchester United. Is he?
Sloppy couple of minutes there for both teams. There was a pass out of play from Højlund under no pressure. Speak about unforced errors in tennis. Two very large unforced errors there for both teams. Niakate did really well to hook it back out and prevent the corner.
Here comes the throw-in. Diogo Dallo. Dallo arching his back, sending a decent throw. It reached the edge of the 6-yard box, but headed back out of the penalty area. Garnacho picks up the pieces, returns it to the right wing to the feet of Dallo. Clever ball into Ugarte on the edge of the penalty area, but he doesn't do much with it. Plie gives the ball straight to Tolisso. A chance of a counter-attack here, but Mikotadze. Was that a foul? Referee says no, play on. Manchester United able to come forward with Bruno Fernandes on the left-hand side. And Mikotadze is still down, so Lyon are effectively playing with 10 men here. Dallo, right-footed cross into a busy penalty area. Dorgu's up there, swings his boot, can't shoot. Garnacho does shoot, but it comes back off a defender, and Lyon put it out for a corner. Mikotadze still down, and the whistles from the home fans who felt play should have been held up there, but it's not a head injury, and he doesn't even want the physio at the end of it, so the referee was right to play on.
Yeah, it wasn't a foul. He's looking for it, though. You can tell exactly what he's doing. Lyon win the ball back. They try and counter into that Dallo region, and there's a few little sandwiches there between the players. Ugarte tracking back. I think it might have been maybe a possible dead leg, but it's not a foul at all.
Corner to Manchester United. Bruno Fernandes ready to take it. Casemiro's gone in to try and stand directly in front of the goalkeeper. Manchester United fans, top corner, have a very good view down of Bruno Fernandes taking this kick. Dorgu and Ugarte are lurking on the edge of the penalty area, and everyone else apart from Mazraoui, who's the only defender back, everyone else is in the box. Good ball in. Casemiro tried to get towards it, but it's panned like a volleyball player away by Lucas Perry, the goalkeeper, and Lyon tried to push out now as Manchester United come again. United a goal down in France. Mazraoui over towards Bruno Fernandes. He'll do well to keep that in, and he fails to do so. And a big cheer from the Lyon crowd. Little moments like that mean a lot in a knockout tie like this.
Absolutely. They're looking for Fernandes every single time the ball breaks into a sort of second phase moment off a set piece. Bruno Fernandes, he's normally taking them, he then comes back on side, and every single time Manchester United are just looking for that long ball to get Fernandes on the ball again, because they know he is their player that can cause the magic.
Ruben Amorim has come out to the edge of the technical area here, looking very stylish tonight. He's got a sort of a camel tan-coloured short jacket on. He looks very continental, very European. This is his sort of scene, perhaps more than the heavier layers he's got to wear when he's in Manchester, but he's down there. I mean, it's not been disastrous by any stretch for Manchester United, but they've conceded a sloppy goal, and they are troubling to ask questions in terms of trying to get one back. Let's go back to Tottenham against Frankfurt. In this competition tonight, Henry Moran.
Tottenham 1, Eintracht Frankfurt 1. Pedro Porro's equaliser has led to a rather quiet phase of play, but Spurs certainly growing into the game after the early shock, conceding after just 6 minutes. Spurs 1, Eintracht Frankfurt 1.
Manchester United tried to recover from their early shock here as Lyon come on the attack. Tagliafico up to Mikotadze, but he took his eye off the ball for a moment. Dallo was able to recapture it for Manchester United. Sells a little dummy Dallo. Ooh, as he run the ball over the place. Not all of the ball didn't go over the line. And eventually there is no way past Okoyoko. But Dallo showing a bit of grit here, showing a bit of fight. And Manchester United need as much of that as they could get this evening.
Yeah, it's good by Dallo. It's the first time I think he's managed to break down this right-hand side. A good little dribble away from pressure. He does keep the ball in. It's very tight. But there ends up being a foul in there.
So another break in play here. A chance to plug the Commentator's View podcast, which will be available on the Football Daily feed from tomorrow. Tomorrow's episode, and it hasn't been recorded yet, it's going to be worth listening. Football correspondent John Murray has had adventure in Paris this week, and he will tell all on the Commentator's View podcast tomorrow. So that's a trail, that's a teaser, Izzy.
I'll be tuning in.
Yes,
I'll download it. Like
no spoilers. No spoilers.
I'll keep my mouth shut.
We'll get the full story with John and Ian Dennis tomorrow. No Ali Bruce Ball this week because he's part of the commentary team at the golf at Augusta this week. Lucky man. Right. We're about to get back underway here. Throw into Manchester United, bang on the halfway line. If you're joining our coverage, Lyon 1, Manchester United 0. Thiago Almada scoring from a free kick outside the penalty area, which he was trying to play in across, hoping it would cause problems in the back post area, and it went straight through everyone, didn't touch anything, bounced awkwardly in front of an awkward Onana, who didn't cover himself in glory, and that has been a telling breakthrough for Lyon in this first leg on home soil here tonight. Let's go back to Ibrox. Rangers against Athletic Bilbao. Ailey Barber.
Still goalless, and the 10 men of Rangers are dealing with this tie really well, although Athletic Bilbao just had a couple of big chances. Sanadi with an effort tipped over, went for the corner, and from the corner Sanset's header really well saved by Liam Kelly, who's in the Rangers goal tonight. It is still Rangers 0, Athletic Bilbao 0.
Here in Lyon, in eastern France. Lyon 1, Manchester United 0. Full house in here this evening. A 60,000 capacity stadium. Wonderful modern bowl where the tiers go the whole way around. There's no gap in the stand anywhere. Floodlights illuminating down on the pitch after what was a bright sunny day in these parts as Bruno Fernandes comes down the left-hand side. First time delivery of a cross is straight at Clinton Mata, and the Lyon defender is able to clear the ball away. Cherky, full of confidence. That's brilliant. He got away from Dorgu, and he's played a lovely ball forward, and Manchester United are a little bit thin on defenders here. Mikotadze, good work by Ugarte to close him down, and Manchester United get it back again.
Yeah, as soon as the game becomes transitional, Casemiro is going to struggle, and that is the exact moment where he got caught out of position, couldn't get back in.
It's just beginning to open up a little bit now, a little bit more end-to-end. As Garnacho comes in off the right wing. Ugarte short to the feet of Casemiro, now out to the left wing to Dorgu. And Dorgu's attempts to cross stopped by a very solid challenge from Ainsley Maitland-Niles. He's been good tonight in those one-on-ones with Dorgu and Bruno Fernandes. Ainsley Maitland-Niles hasn't put a foot wrong.
Yeah, he's got Dorgu on toast. He's done it all this first half, and to be honest with you, Dorgu needs to be better. These wing-backs in this system for Manchester United have got to supply creativity. They have to cross and get into the positions. You have to go 1v1 at times and beat them to provide Højlund and the likes of Garnacho and Bruno Fernandes with things to feast on inside the box. But Dorgu, every single time, he's just run into Maitland-Niles and not got anything out of it.
Ainsley Maitland-Niles, who was a free transfer from Arsenal, so too Alexander Lacazette, free transfer from Arsenal. He's on the bench tonight for Lyon. He's been banging in the goals this season. We may see him in the second half. Free transfers order of the day for Lyon. It might be for some time now. They've had off-the-field financial regulation issues. In November, it was actually at one stage announced they were going to be demoted to League 2 next season, but they weren't allowed to sign any new players in January, and they're still working on the exact outcome of all of that. But that's why income from the Europa League would be very welcome, and income by getting into the Champions League next season, ditto. As Ainsley Maitland-Niles and Clinton Mata sort of left it for each other there a bit awkwardly, and Manchester United will regain possession. Lyon 1, Manchester United 0 here as we approach half-time, just a couple of minutes of normal time to go until the break.
Yeah, Casemiro then just getting on the ball and hooking a sort of reverse pass into the space to Garnacho. He took out the whole Lyon midfield with a first-time pass, and that is the level of quality you do get from him when he's unopposed, but he's really struggled so far. He's just lost the ball again here, just a loose touch.
And here come Lyon once again. Thiago Almada, the goal scorer, runs into Ugarte, who's taken him down. It's a free kick within shooting range. That was great pace on the attack from Thiago Almada. And Ugarte's not happy with it, but the free kick has been awarded. Central location. Difficult one to defend this.
Yeah, it's come from Casemiro, giving the ball away really cheaply. His heavy first touch on the bounce. It just invites Lyon's midfield to just jump in, press, and they're just doing it really well in terms of feeding their forwards straight away, getting on the back line, and Ugarte, Casemiro's midfield partner, just has to tug him back, and promising position this.
You'll be surprised to hear the French television director is zooming in on Andre Onana, because the last free kick that Lyon had, they scored, and we'll wait for the final rulings on it and what the court of opinion comes up with, but feels to us like Andre Onana should have done a lot better. So he finds himself in the spotlight again as Almada stands over this. Now can he deliver this one as dangerously? Manchester United have erected just a three-man wall, and Højlund is lying as the draft excluder as Almada hits it, and he puts this one over the top. So that doesn't trouble Andre Onana. 1-0 to Lyon. It remains here on the cusp of half-time in France.
He will be delighted that set piece, that free kick from Almada, was really poorly executed. It must have been about 20 feet over the bar. Really poor.
Andre Onana, who turned 29 last week, just 3 clean sheets in his last 23 club games in all competitions. He's conceded tonight, so that'll be 3 and 24 now. He comes outside his penalty area wearing all green tonight. We're into stoppages at the end of the first half, and 4 minutes have been added on. There have been a few injury delays here, so still 4 minutes to go to half-time.
Yeah, it's just a case of seeing this out. Manchester United, I think it needs to become a priority not to concede again in these next 4 minutes.
This is Tolisso in the midfield, looking expansively out to the right wing, plays a pass on towards Ryan Cherki. Difficult one to control. He's done really well there, under pressure from Dorgu to head it back to his teammate who's alongside him there, Vertu. This is Mata to Niakate, and into the centre circle to Tolisso again. That's what an awkward one for Mata to take high and swirling in the air. Casemiro comes to put a bit of pressure on him, but Lyon are able to deal with that pressure, and Mata and Maitland-Niles between them trying to pass their way out now from the edge of the penalty area. They've almost reached half-time here. They have reached half-time in Spurs. Henry Moran.
Spurs 1, Eintracht Frankfurt 1. Frankfurt with the early opener thanks to 22-year-old Hugo Ekitike. Spurs stood back. The youngster made them pay. Pedro Porra with the neat back heel finish to equalise. Game a few chances. Half-time. Spurs 1, Eintracht Frankfurt 1.
Here in France, Lyon leading Manchester United by a goal to 0, and Mazraoui with defending to do here, just preventing the ball from going out for a corner. He's going to lose it here to Tagliafico. Mazraoui tries to bite back. Good recovery in the end, but he's given away a corner, and he looked uncertain throughout all of that. Noussair Mazraoui, who's been one of Manchester United's better defenders this season, a campaign in which they've been scrutinised and criticised a lot. He looked wobbly there, and Lyon in stoppages ahead of the break get another corner.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mess for Mazraoui, to be honest with you. Lyon is a city which has a great rugby team, and it looked like he was doing a rugby tackle right there. And he's lucky. Manchester United, oh my God, they cannot concede off this.
Cherki sends it in. There's a Lyon player who's gone down in the penalty area. I think not sure who that is, but he gets back up to his feet anyway. The referee wasn't interested in the appeals. And there's been a goal in League 2, an equaliser for Crewe at home against Cheltenham. Crewe 1, Cheltenham 1 in League 2. Here comes Rasmus Højlund, trying to break from the centre circle. Challenge comes in from Aku Yuoko. Good challenge to stop Højlund, who turns and remonstrates with the referee, hoping to get a free kick, but the Swede is not interested. Here on the edge of the penalty area is Casemiro, and he tried a trick and it didn't work, and Manchester United lose possession again. Ryan Cherki forward towards Tolisso. Now up to Mikodadze, who's one-on-one here with Mazraoui. It's 2-on-1 if they're quick enough. Mikodadze into the penalty area. Mazraoui had to get that just right, and he did. Flicked out his boot, made the tackle, and Euro can bring possession away.
They are so lucky, Manchester United.
Rasmus Højlund tries to get onto it, through ball down the other end, but he is shoulder charged out of it by Clinton Mata, who has bullied the Dane there. As Lyon regained possession. Lyon won Manchester United 0.
Just as it's become transitional, that is when Manchester United have been on the rack. They've got to keep it tight. If it turns like this into the second half, I'm actually really worried for what Lyon could do to this Manchester United team, because they look so good going forward. They've got pace, they've got creativity, they've got everything.
The goal from Thiago Almada, a free kick that was played in ostensibly as a cross, but it bounced wickedly in front of Onana, who couldn't react quickly enough. He couldn't get down. He tried to push it away to open palms, but didn't get his gloves to it. And to the joy of the Lyon fans and their main ultras behind that goal that Onana is in this first half, they gleefully celebrated Lyon taking an important lead in this Europa League quarter-final first leg. Diogo Dallo has possession. This is 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Live in France this evening. Garnacho tries to play a 1-2 with Ugarte. Manchester United going to get a free kick here. And while we wait for them to organise it, back to Rangers and back to Ailey Barber.
Half-time here, really entertaining this one so far, despite Rangers being reduced to 10 after just 13 minutes. Robin Proper taken out Inaki Williams when he was through on goal. But the 10 men, they've worked so hard. The visitors know they're in a game. They've dominated as expected. Liam Kelly in for the drop. Jack Butland's made a couple of solid saves, but Rangers have created chances. The best from a Cyril Desser's turn and strike. The noise inside here has not dropped. Every tackle cheered, and at the break, it is Rangers 0, Athletic Bilbao 0.
Same story in terms of the noise here in Lyon as Bruno Fernandes prepares to take the free kick from Manchester United. What a perfect time this would be to equalise, right on the cusp of half-time. Bruno Fernandes wide on the right-hand side. Packed penalty area waits. Plays it in with a lot of power. Punched away by Perry. Oh, and it's rebounded back in! Lenny Yoro! Well, they're all celebrating down there. It's the French teenager Yoro who I believe gets the final touch. Manchester United, well, we said what a time this would be to equalise. They've got it back to 1-1. Bruno Fernandes played the free kick in with a lot of power. It was punched powerfully away by Lucas Perry, but it fell up from Manuel Ugarte, and when he played it back in, it glanced off the forehead of Lenny Yoro, and the Frenchman will claim it, and it's 1-1. Big moment for Ruben Amorim. This could save Manchester United's season.
This is absolutely massive. It's not by design, but it's absolutely brilliant from Yoro. The composure just to glance the ball across. Ugarte fires it back in with pace, and he just does so well to just adjust his body position and just knock it into the far corner.
It was quite literally the last touch of the first half. After 4 minutes were allocated, Manchester United scored in the 5th minute of stoppage time, and that's colossal moment for Lenny Yoro. His first ever goal for Manchester United, and it is a goal to level things up at 1-1 in this quarter-final first leg. This will deflate Lyon, who've been the better team, who've been on top, but it's all square again.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Teed up the second half wonderfully. Manchester United are really lucky they didn't go 2-0 down just moments before that free kick. They got it from Garnacho, who was fouled by Niakate in the build-up. The delivery from Bruno Fernandes was delivered with such pace. It causes so many problems inside the box. The second phase from Ugarte, and Lenny Yoro with a beautifully guided header just to give Manchester United a lifeline and take it in square.
What a moment for Lenny Yoro, who Manchester United spent a lot of money on. A 19-year-old with his first goal for the club. 1-1. And it sets it up for a thrilling second half here in eastern France. Elsewhere in the Europa League today, Lazio lost 2-0 away at Bodo Glimt in their quarter-final first leg. We've heard from Ailey about Rangers being 0-0 against Athletic Bilbao at Ibrox. We've heard from Henry that Tottenham were 1-1 with Frankfurt at half-time. In London, in the UEFA Conference League earlier on, they're also at the quarter-final stage of that. Chelsea had a good 3-0 win away from home against Legia Warsaw in their first leg. Wins for Fiorentina and Betis too. 0-0 draw between Djurgården and Rapid Vienna in that competition. So, in League 2 as well, by the way, 1-1 at half-time between Crewe Alexandra and Cheltenham Town. There's one match in the Super League tonight. Currently Salford 0, Leeds Rhinos 4 at half-time. Now, coverage from Mark Chapman and the team at Augusta continues on Sports Extra in the background, but we'll be with Mark and the team after the news on 5 Live with Al Tansley.
the voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The US stock market has fallen again a day after it made gains following Donald Trump's decision to pause most tariff increases except those directed at China. Analysts say investors are concerned about Washington's trade war with Beijing, but the president has insisted his policies are going to plan.
We think we're in very good shape. Again, there'll be a transition cost, transition problems, but in the end, it's going to be a beautiful thing. We're doing again what we should have done many years ago. We allowed some countries to get very big and very rich at our expense.
The luxury car manufacturer Lotus says it's restructuring partly because of US tariffs. The firm, which is based in Norfolk and employs about 1,700 people, says up to 270 jobs could be lost. 6 activists from the environmental group Greenpeace have been arrested after red dye was poured into a large pond outside the US Embassy in London. It was part of a protest against American arms sales to Israel. The government department run by one of Sir Keir Starmer's most senior ministers is cutting nearly a third of its staff. Around 1,200 people will be made redundant at the Cabinet Office, with another 900 being transferred to other departments. And Pulp have announced their first new album for 24 years. More, which will be released in June, is dedicated to the band's late bass player, Steve Mackey.
Walker scores!
When certain opportunities come, you have to take it.
The Manchester City club captain Carl Walker has joined AC Milan on loan.
I'm Carl Walker.
And I'm Michael Brown.
And welcome to the Carl Walker podcast with me in Milan and Brownie in Manchester.
Walker passes brilliantly.
You can ask us anything about football, our careers, and about Kyle's life in Italy, or just random everyday stuff.
They're the moments that you do pinch yourself and being a kid from Sheffield.
The Kyle Walker Podcast.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
The 89th Masters, live from Augusta National.
With Mark Chapman.
On 5 Live.
And BBC Sounds.
And we are live from Augusta this evening on both 5 Live and Sports Extra during half-time of Lyon Manchester United, which is level at 1-1. Rangers 0, Athletic Bilbao 0, Rangers down to 10 and Tottenham 1. Eintracht Frankfurt 1. The cheers you can hear are for Alistair Bruce, well, not for Alistair Bruce Ball, are for...
Thank you,
yeah.
Thank you. Another Rory McIlroy birdie, so he's followed the one at the 8th with a fabulous birdie at the 9th. He's played the front 9 in 33 shots, exactly how he wanted to start this year's Masters, playing beautifully, swinging nicely, 3 birdies on the front line, no drop shots, 3 under par and 3 shots off the lead held by Justin Rose.
So the leaderboard then?
Yes, the leaderboard at the moment. Justin Rose playing the par 5 13th, can't get to the green in 2, blocked out on the right hand side by the drive. He's at 6 under par, that is 2 shots ahead of Corey Connors, the Canadian, in the clubhouse on 4 under par, defending champion Scotty Scheffler, also 4 under par. Tyrrell Hatton of England, 3 under par. He's just finished out on the 18th with a par to get to that mark. McIlroy now at 3 under. He's heading down the back 9. Aaron Rai on his Masters debut. The Englishman finished at 2 under par, as did the Australian Jason Day. Matt Fitzpatrick, another one on the 2 under par mark. He's on the back 9 now. He's parred the 10th and remains at 2 under par. One name I just went searching for, actually, not mentioned in our coverage at all this evening so far. Brooks Koepka has played 10 holes so far, is 2 over par for this year's Masters. Bryson DeChambeau 1 under, having played the 8th, and he'll be heading down the 9th.
Our correspondent Ian Carter at Amen Corner this evening, so Rory will probably be there in about, 25 minutes or so and coming into view, which will be interesting, and you'll be able to hear that on Sports Extra. You've got Sergio Garcia in front of you at the moment in the colours of the Spanish flag, or looking like a fruit salad sweet, depending on your point of view.
No, I think the Spanish flag is a brilliant likeness, if you like, Mark, with that blood red top, the blood red cap, and then bright yellow trousers. He always likes to make a sartorial mark, doesn't he, Sergio Garcia? And he's just teed off on the 12th, going along quite nicely at 1 over par as he came down the 11th hole just a short while ago. In front of me now, actually, is Matt Fitzpatrick, who's someone who's been so badly short of form. But he's having a good day, the Englishman, currently at 2 under par and about to chip from just off the right side with his 3rd shot at the par 4 11.
There's an Englishman who's having a better day, and he is beaming at the moment.
Andrew McGee said a 65 is possibly on the cards. Justin Rose, 6 under par for 12 holes, did the sensible thing here on the par 5 13th, knew he couldn't get to the green in 2, knocked it up to the distance he wanted to, Trish, has hit the perfect pitch shot into there, just to the left-hand side of the flag. It's checked up, 6-footer to come for birdie.
Yeah, it's an absolute corker, beautifully judged, just pitched it round about flag high. A little bit of check. The only thing he does have, that will be absolutely grease lightning, so he's got to be very, very careful, but beautifully played.
His consistency here is remarkable, Ian Carter, isn't it? 16 cuts made out of 20 appearances, 6 top 10 finishers, twice a runner-up.
Yes, it's extraordinary, and 4 times the first round leader as well. He knows how to get out of the blocks here. There's absolutely no doubt about that. And this is a golf course where experience, I think, counts for an awful lot. You build so many good memories, and knowing where not to hit the ball, how to play the percentages, where not to press the panic button. All of those kind of things go into the mix. It's no coincidence that, you know, you've only got Fuzzy Zeller really as a first-time winner of this tournament. That was a complete anomaly. You need to know your way around the Augusta National, and no one knows it's better than Justin Rose, and he delivers at this time of year, time and again.
So he is 6 under with a possibility of going to 7 under, and Rory, Ian, has done exactly what Rory would have wanted to do today.
I think so, yes. It sounds like he's playing within himself with a fluency which has been the hallmark of so much of his golf this year, and that is, I think, a very promising sign. We've seen him on a number of occasions come into the Masters with the kind of height that he's had this time around, and he's looked nervous, he's looked edgy, he's scrambled to make pars, he's dropped shots here and there, he's made mental errors. That hasn't been the case on this front 9. I think it'll be a very important back 9 for him, and if he can see what he considers to be a more pragmatic, patient and strategic approach to this pay dividends, then I think that will go a long way to fueling his quest to win the one major that he has yet to achieve.
You will also be seeing soon, Ian, Matt Fitzpatrick coming into view after what has been a very difficult season for him.
That is correct, and in fact I've just seen him chip a little bit clumsily here on the 11th with his 3rd shot, so he's got a test to come, but he is 2 under par, and of course on our preview programme we had Billy Foster on, who'd been Matt's caddy for the last 6 years, but they parted after the Players' Championship, so he's got Dan Parrott on the bag. He was going to have a job share through this season with Dan Parrott and Billy Foster, but such has been the decline for Matt Fitzpatrick. He's down at 74 in the world. This is someone who 3 years ago won the US Open and was a dead cert for the European Ryder Cup team. You can't say that about him right now, and potentially this could be a turning point week. Still very early to say that. He'll be encouraged to be 2 under par at this stage, and I think a very important par save putt coming up for him in the next few moments.
He's got who on the bag?
Dan Parrott.
Who? Oh, it's the little things sometimes, isn't it?
I said Dan Parrott.
Ali, you see McIlroy tee off on
Yeah, imperious again, Mark. So the 10th hole, I mean, people who listen to us regularly and know Augusta National will know the 10th very well. It's the one, actually, I think when you come for the very first time and see Augusta in the flesh, you are stunned by the steepness of the slope. It's like a giant ski run that swoops right to left, up from the top of the golf course and down towards the bottom. Took a 3-wood there, Trish, and actually it surprised me. We watched Aaron Ryan, Mark and I, earlier hit that tee shot, and he ripped a drive down there with the draw, and as it set off I thought, blimey, he's taken that tight to the left-hand side, but there is room out there. You've got to shape it right to left, and McIlroy's done just that.
I'm just going to jump in, Trish, sorry. I think Matt Fitzpatrick is about to putt. Ian?
Yes, and this is important. This is to stay at 2 under par and stay prominent on this leaderboard that has Justin Rose at the top at 6 under par. So to stay within 4 shots of his fellow Englishman, Fitzpatrick has 6 feet here, and it was a clumsy chip because he went above the hole, and this will be an awkward one that will need to be gauged with a little bit of break from left to right. Putting from his own shadow, the Englishman sends it forward and it turns into the middle of the cup, and that is an excellent save from Matt Fitzpatrick, and he remains at 2 under as he makes his way to the 12th tee.
back to Trish and the tee shot on 10.
Yeah, the 3-wood from McIlroy was just perfectly executed again. Obviously, it's just that little bit easier, just to turn a 3-wood over. McIlroy likes to hit it right to left anyway, but just in perfect position on 10.
Tell you who else is going along very quietly and nicely, in a sort of understated way, in a former champion who we're just seeing his second shot into the 9.
Is that Matsuyama? Yeah, I've just seen the second shot in there. Yeah, 2 under par mark for the 8 holes played so far. Steady start, parred the first 6, birdied the 7th, birdied the 8th. Yeah, and has just knocked his approach onto the 9th green as well. So 2 under par. 4 shots off the lead, but obviously Justin Rose birdie putt to come from pretty close range on the 13th. That won't be too far away.
Because one of the things we ought to throw in here, Andrew McGee, as well, is we're talking about how serenely a lot of players are progressing today. One of the vagaries of championship golf is the luck of the draw, and that can be whether that be on a Thursday or a Friday. I think the weather is slightly different tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah, it's huge. It's not explained enough about the luck of the draw and the morning round, which gives you an afternoon round on a Friday, and vice versa, afternoon. I think most players would prefer an afternoon round first and a morning round second, so you can continue your golf through dinner and just get up and go again. And but it's the luck of the draw. You can get a terrible draw in the wind and the rain and the lightning and get held out.
There's always one who's different. You wanted early then afternoon.
No, sorry, Andrew. I always liked it the other way around because I like to have the early score, so you weren't 8 shots or 10 shots behind when you went out after the first day, and then you had the 24 hours kip.
Well, no,
I used to love that.
I'm thinking about my airplane flight after I missed the cut. I'll try there.
True.
I think the weather is harder tomorrow afternoon, isn't it, Ian?
Yes. I think that's when we're expecting the freshest winds. And I was just thinking, actually, it feels pretty calm here now. When I walked down to Amen Corner probably three and a half hours ago, you could really feel a discernible breeze. There is, we're at the lowest point of the course, and the flags are just fluttering a little bit. But I can't help feeling that these players in the afternoon are maybe getting the best of it right now. And so, yeah, if they can get a nice calm morning and then it blows for Scheffler and co tomorrow afternoon, they'll be very happy.
John Rahm at the moment looks like he wants to wrap his putt around his own head.
2 over par at the moment, John Rahm. He's just missed one there. It's gone sliding by on the right-hand side, and you say, yeah, he was gripping that putter so tight, it looked like he might be about to snap it. Justin Rose at 6 under, leads by 2, birdie putt to come on the 13th. Closest challengers at the moment, Corey Connors and Scotty Scheffler, both at 4 under par, both in the clubhouse. Tyrrell Hatton in the clubhouse on 3 under, Rory McIlroy at 3 under par, playing the 10th.
OK, so our golf coverage will continue on Sports Extra, uninterrupted there. We're going to go back to the football. Hideki Matsuyama has just drained a putt on the 9th. That was for par, though, so he stays at 2 under, does the former champion. The golf continues on Sports Extra. Back to the football on 5 Live. Lyon 1, Manchester United 1, Conor McNamara.
Thank you very much, Mark. And that Lenny Yoro goal for Manchester United, levelling this quarter-final tie-up. His header was the very last touch of the first half. We're back underway. No changes in personnel. Alexander Lacazette has been warming up, though, for Lyon. Harry Maguire has possession at the back for Manchester United. Any goal has the potential of changing a game, Izzy Christensen, but the timing of that one, the nature of it, given that it wasn't really expected, it's a huge boost for Manchester United.
Yeah, it was brilliant. It was perfect, but I still don't think any notes that Ruben Amorim took on a notepad, I don't know if he's using one down there in the technical area, but I don't think that would have meant he was going to rip up the notes. I still think there's things that need to be addressed in this half, and if it becomes transitional again, I really fear for Manchester United. They've got to keep it tight, and to be honest with you, keep it the way it is. Play on the counter-attack, play, almost in a low block and exploit Lyon. But Lyon, from their perspective, more of the same. They've been a joy to watch at times.
That's a good ball from Harry Maguire, and Bruno Fernandes is cantering onto it. United playing right to left as we look down in the second half. Dorgu is with Bruno Fernandes. He's inside the penalty area, gives it back to his captain. Nice ball into the box here. Ugarte turns, hangs it into a dangerous area near the penalty spot, but Okoyoko is able to clear it away, and then a free kick to Lyon for a challenge on the edge of the box from Mazraoui. Well, that's a positive start for Manchester United to the second half. Charging down the left wing there, getting into the penalty area, something they weren't able to do with any regularity in the first half, but Ruben Amorim hoping that that equalising goal now is going to propel his team onto better things in the second period here. 1-1 for now.
Yeah, without a doubt, that's the third cutback we've seen so far in this game for Manchester United from a wing-back. We saw it in the first half with Dorgu and Garnacho. You know, when he fizz it across into that sort of penalty spot area, all it relies on is the timing of a run, driving into the box or a peeling off winger at the back stick, coming around the face of the ball.
Will be delighted, Ruben Amorim, that his team have scored. The Manchester derby on Sunday was the 8th match since he's taken charge when his team did not find the net. And if you go back to when he joined the club, that period, only Leicester City have had more games in which they didn't score in the Premier League than Manchester United. But they have scored here tonight. Lenny Yoro, after Ugarte's shot, we've seen the replays, it was going wide of the target. It needed that glancing header from Yoro, and he was able to dispatch it into the net. Yoro in possession at the moment. The tall French teenager back on French soil this evening with the white boots down there. And the ball goes out of play for a throw into Manchester United, and Ruben Amorim plays ball boy there as Bruno Fernandes throws it to Lenny Yoro infield again to Harry Maguire.
Yeah, Amorim is playing ball boy and Bruno Fernandes is taking the throw-ins. He can't do everything.
You know that he would if he could.
He can't.
Yeah.
He seriously can't be out here taking throw-ins.
He would drive the team bus, Bruno Fernandes. I'd say there's control issues there as Manchester United have possession with Dalot, far side of the field from us. We'll give you a rundown of the teams once again. Lucas Perry, the Brazilian goalkeeper, didn't do great for the goal. He punched it out straight to Ugarte. As he came back in before, headed by Yoro. Back four, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, seen a good first half, the former Arsenal man. Clinton Mata, Moussa Niakate, the two central defenders. Niakate, the former Forest player. And Nicolas Tagliafico, the Argentinian international, is the left back. In midfield, Ako Yuwoko's been the anchor. Jordan Virtu, Corentin Tolisso, Thiago Almada, who scored the Lyon goal. George Mikadadze, the Georgian, and Rayan Cherki, who has looked dangerous coming forward, but Lyon haven't been able to come forward all that regularly in this second half so far. Manchester United have suddenly become the team on top in this tie. Long way to go tonight, long way to go over the two legs. They'll meet at Old Trafford again next Thursday as the through ball for Manchester United into the penalty area goes wayward, and that presents possession back to Perry, the Lyon goalkeeper again.
Yeah, they come out in the second half, Manchester United, with a bit more swagger about them, and Bruno Fernandes is actually dropping deeper to get on the ball. We saw it. Ruben Amorim moved his position in the derby, dropped him deeper into the second half, and he starts to get on the ball, dictate play. But ultimately, that says everything you need to know about Casemiro and Ugarte. They're just not starting attacks off enough, feeding Fernandes. But there's been some really good little spells where he's sort of pushing the ball around the corner. Garnacho's getting it on the half turn, but it's then what's next from that, which Manchester United are really lacking.
Okay, Lyon appeared to be preparing a substitute here, and it's a familiar name, Alexander Lacazette, the former Arsenal player. Arsenal, who paid about £50 million or thereabouts to sign him from Lyon, and then he returned here on a free. He's getting ready to come on. We've still got a break in play while treatment has been received by a player on the pitch. So let's go back to Tottenham, up and underway in the second half. Henry Moran watching Tottenham against Frankfurt.
10 minutes into the second half, Spurs 1, Frankfurt 1. Lucas Bergvall so close to giving Spurs the lead. Crashing shot from distance, banging into the underside of the bar. Good game this, Spurs 1, Frankfurt 1.
And how has the second half started at Ibrox? Ailey Barber.
It is the visitors who are in full control at the start of this second half. The 10 men of Rangers are trying to battle away, but Bilbao have all the possession. And yet to trouble though Liam Kelly. It is still Rangers 0, Athletic Bilbao 0.
Thanks very much, Ailey. So the Lyon change, Paul Akoyuwoko, the defensive-minded midfielder who was injured in that collision, he goes off. And it's a tactical swap, because Alexander Lacazette, who has been as a centre-forward, comes on. So they're going to rejig things a little bit. He'll be the central striker, Lacazette. Almada, it would appear, will operate in the number 10 position. Cherky wide on the right. And Mikotadze, the Georgian, goes to the left wing. 1-1 on the night. That would be a scoreline that would suit Manchester United better than it would Lyon. Manchester United, who will have a home advantage in the second leg next Thursday. United have started this second half well. Casemiro here plays the ball back to Harry Maguire on the halfway line. Manchester United with Onana playing behind a back three. Mazraoui, Maguire and Yoro. Dalot and Dorgu the wing backs. Casemiro and Ugarte the two central midfielders. Bruno Fernandes and Alejandro Garnacho in support of Højlund. It feels like we haven't mentioned Garnacho's name much of the game, and Can Manchester United get him involved a little bit more? Here comes Mikotadze. Tripped by Ugarte, and the referee immediately brandishes the yellow card. Manuel Ugarte picks up a booking.
He's just done an expedition on how to take the ball on the half turn in that sort of number 10 role space. You know, he received a really fast pass into his back foot. He's off balance, he takes it on the half turn. It's a brilliant touch. He's been absolutely sensational all evening. He takes the foul.
That foul allows Manchester United to get bodies back behind the ball. Lyon 1, Manchester United 1 here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds this evening from France. This Groupama Stadium, 60,000 people, really good atmosphere in here. Nice touch by Mikotadze. Oh, he put it one side of the defender, around the other. Now he takes on Garnacho, pulls it back for the ball. Lacazette for his touch, puts it wide. What an opportunity for Lyon. And the former Arsenal man, Alexander Lacazette, almost scores with his first touch. That's a big let-off for Manchester United. Some sparkling play there from Mikotadze. He's the player who could get Lyon back in front here.
Yeah, Mikotadze, oh my word. I thought his first touch was brilliant, you know, moments earlier, but that second piece there, he just gets to the byline with such craft, cuts it back to exactly where Lyon are in terms of increasing their goal threat on the pitch, with Lacazette coming on. That was brilliant.
Coverage from Augusta continuing over on Sports Extra. There's been another big chance at Tottenham against Frankfurt. Henry Moran.
3 big chances at Tottenham. First, Son forcing a flying save from the young goalkeeper. Resulting corner, Bentancur's header hits the bar, and James Maddison has just forced another good low save. Tottenham knocking on that door, 1-1.
Thanks very much, Henry. 1-1 here in France as Harry Maguire, almost tackled by Lacazette, sends a crossfield ball. Maguire has hurt himself there. Said almost. He got the ball away. Lacazette then caught him. And Harry Maguire, who is not one to make a song and dance about things, he's down, he's holding his ankles. He looks hurt.
Yeah, he does. He looks like he's in a bit of pain. Looks like he's sort of getting up now, just feeling the full force of that. I think it might have been Lacazette, yeah. Lacazette just catching him late. It's a little bit unorthodox. It didn't look like there was too much contact. We've just seen a replay of that touch from Mikotadze. Oh my God, it was sensational. It was Garnacho that ends up tracking him. He does so well to get a cross in, and Lacazette opens up the face of his foot. Can't direct it towards goal.
Yeah, had to open the foot, had to open the body there because Maguire was directly in front of him. He wanted to guide it into the far bottom corner. And fortunately for Manchester United, he was not able to do that. As United come forward and win a corner. Corner for Bruno Fernandes. United playing from right to left in this second half in Lyon. Bruno Fernandes has already got the ball placed. He's waiting for his teammates to get in position, including Harry Maguire, who's come forward. So obviously no ill effects there from that challenge from Lacazette a minute ago. There's a whole huddle. There were points something out after this corner, something I've not seen in a game before. Do you see the guy standing beside Bruno Fernandes with the big screen? He's shielding in case anyone throws anything at Bruno Fernandes.
Great spot from you.
I've not seen that in a game before. So here comes the corner. Short one up by Bruno Fernandes. In towards the front post. Flicked and out. And it'll be another corner. It was a defender of the front post who got the touch there. And it goes out for a corner. So just to explain what happened there, as Bruno Fernandes is taken it, we often see players, we see it in the Premier League, we see it in all sorts of competitions, people throwing things at players taking corners. It's happening on the other side too. So the gentleman come out, like a huge barrier shield. It's a clear perspex shield, and they stand and they hold that as protection in case anyone tries to throw anything at Bruno Fernandes. They still are throwing things. You can see plastic glasses and stuff being thrown, but that little barrier prevents it coming through and hitting the players. It's an interesting thing that they do here. Lenny Yoro, after the corner comes in, tries to get the shot in. Dorgu, edge of the box, trying to keep this tackle alive for Manchester United. Garnacho gets the ball down on the deck. He's on the left wing. He's up against Lacazette. Here comes a low cross into the centre. Lacazette's been able to cut it out, and Lyon should clear away here. Thiago Almada, their goal scorer, with a calm pass, though, back to Ainsley Maitland-Niles, and now he will play it right-footed down into the Manchester United end of the field, and Mazraoui allows it past his body and carried through to Andre Onana, who's still getting the boos and the cheers from the Lyon crowd here. Lyon 1, Manchester United 1. This is bubbling away nicely. It could be an interesting conclusion to the game. What about events at Ibrox in this competition? Rangers against Athletic Bilbao. Ailey Barber.
A huge chance for the visitors to take the lead. DeMarco's doing really well down the right-hand side. His ball across the face of the goal, met by Sanity, but it was wide of the Rangers post, and the 10 men of Rangers hanging on a bit here. It is still Rangers 0, Athletic Bilbao 0.
And the winner of that tie plays the winner of this one in the final, which will be played in Bilbao this year. So Athletic would love that to be playing a Europa League final on their home pitch. But what it does mean is that Tottenham and Manchester United would not be able to meet each other in the semi-finals. There could be an all-English Europa League final this year, but that will all be decided next week after the second legs. Here in Lyon, we are approaching the hour mark. It's 1-1. Almada for Lyon and Euro for Manchester United. Both goals in the first half, both goals came from free kicks, as Lucas Perry takes a free kick here from outside his own penalty area, launches it long into the Manchester United end of the field. The other similarity about both goals is that both goals will have scrutiny of the goalkeepers for both of them. For Andre Onana, the ball bounced in front of him, he tried to flap it away, he got no touch into the net. And for Lucas Perry, who did punch the ball clear, but he punched it straight out to Manuel Ugarte, who was able to fire it back in. And the goalkeeper was not able to punch that away to safety. So scrutiny on both goalkeepers for the goals that have this quarter-final first leg at 1-1. Here is Casemiro on the halfway line. Under pressure from Thiago Almada, he gives it back to Mazraoui. Dalot now. Forward towards Garnacho, the ball goes straight out of play. Throw in to Lyon. Is he Christensen?
Yeah, looks frustrated, Dalot. Not quite sure why. He's just passed the ball out of play. Maybe he wanted a little bit quicker movement in front of him by Garnacho, but it's a big, big task for Garnacho. When the ball's right on the touchline, it goes without saying, you've got less of the pitch to play in.
First half in which Lyon really dominated, they were relentless in their attack of Manchester United, but that Euro goal just before the break has changed the narrative here, and Lyon aren't as fluid, they're not as free-flowing, and they're certainly not doing as much attacking since the start of the second half, but there is still over half an hour of regulation time to go. Lyon at the back with Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Last time he played against Manchester United, he was wearing West Bromwich Albion colours. Pass into the midfield. The ball is taken forward by Tolisso. Much decorated player, Corentin Tolisso, particularly from his Bayern Munich days. The noise in here certainly hasn't let up. Manchester United back in defensive formation at the moment as Tolisso plays a low ball in towards the edge of the box. Mikatanse, who's got good close touch control, is able to get it under his spell, lays it back to Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Now Cherky, he's been quiet in the second half. Onto Mikatanse again, tries to run into the penalty area. Euro does well to stop him. Now can Bruno Fernandes launch a counter-attack here? Garnacho cannot be offside because he was inside his own half. Long ball from Bruno Fernandes over the top, and Garnacho's been able to get onto it here. Tolisso, the nearest defender to him, is able to hold up the Argentinian, but Manchester United hold on to possession. 1-1 in Lyon. Dalot gives it back to Garnacho again.
Yeah, it's a brilliant ball through from Bruno Fernandes. He lofts the ball into the path of Garnacho, and just watching Amorim on the touchline, he was squeezing and gesturing his players to get higher up the pitch and support the attack.
Both coaches out on the edge of their technical areas here, both very animated. I say edge of the technical areas, both are nearly on the pitch here. They've stepped out of the technical areas of the Groupama Stadium. This is Harry Maguire playing it to the right-hand side of the Manchester United defence and to Diogo Dalot. Manchester United wearing all navy tonight. Maguire's bright orange boots shining out. Here is Lenny Euro. Low ball into the feet of Bruno Fernandes. Back to Euro, who steps on the gas here and accelerates towards the penalty area. Gets ready to shoot, and he puts it a couple of yards wide. That's not bad at all from Lenny Euro. He started that on the halfway line, and he ended up with a shot just outside the penalty area as it remains 1-1.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't really know how I feel about that, The reason why is because Euro's just done really well to evade the pressure, driving to space. But do you really want your centre-back doing that? Do you want your centre-back having shots from the edge of the box? He does well to get it off, he drags it wide, but you want your Fernandez's in those areas.
Yeah, it's a good point. Can Manchester United get the right balance here? Can they get the right players in the right part of the pitch when the big moments arrive? Rasmus Højlund, this is another one of those games that is passing him by. As Lyon tried to play it out from the back here. Lacazette with a decent flick. Tagliafico right up against the touchline, plays it in field, but Casemiro wins it back for Manchester United. He plays it out to Bruno Fernandes, and a good challenge comes in from Niakate, and the ball goes out for a throw into Manchester United, attacking position down the right-hand side. Now Ruben Amorim is preparing to make an attacking change here, and Joshua Zirkzee is about to come on. Not yet, but he's ready to go.
Yeah, I kind of thought I might have seen Zirkzee at half-time. I thought Højlund was really redundant. He had a couple of chances, failed to execute. I think he's looked quiet. He's not really got involved in the game at all. And I thought this change might come a little bit sooner.
Hasn't scored in the Premier League since December, Joshua Zirkzee. But he did score Manchester United's goal against Sociedad in Spain last month. Ruben Amorim would love if he could repeat the trick here. He's gone at you, attacks down the right-hand side. That's a really good challenge. Tracked him all the way there. Moussa Niakate had to be careful of the penalty area, slid in and put it out for a Manchester United corner. They will take advantage of this break in play to make the change, and it's no surprise that Rasmus Højlund is the player who's been hooked. He had one chance in the game, he scuffed it, and otherwise he's been a passenger.
Yeah, he's been quiet. Zirkzee, entering, point to prove. He's got 30 plus minutes now to get in the game, get involved, make something happen. I'm not saying go and be a hero, because I don't think the game's at that stage right now. But he can definitely do more than what Højlund offered in that first 60 minutes.
Zirkzee on for Højlund as Manchester United prepared to take this corner. Bruno Fernandes from the right-hand side towards the front post. Casemiro jumped but couldn't get a firm connection on it. Lacazette looking to clear the ball away. There's a chance of a counter-attack here. Cherki plays it up to the halfway line to Mikotadze. Good recovery from Dorgu, who's really fast, and he used that pace to get that goal side and to at least hold up Lyon, but he hasn't been able to dispossess them as Thiago Almada gives it to Maitland-Niles, and that's his poorest touch of the night. Disappointing cross, which Harry Maguire should have taken his time over and cleared, but he wasn't aware of what was around him there, Maguire, and he's just given the ball back to Lyon.
Yeah, he had the shout from Onana behind him just to come and claim that with his hands. But to be fair, Maguire, like you say, probably not much awareness of what was around him. He just wanted to do the safe thing and get rid.
63 minutes on the big stadium clock. Lyon in white, Manchester United in navy blue. Lyon playing from left to right as we look down. They brought on Alexander Lacazette in this second half, and they're looking to take the lead for the second time tonight. Here's Tolisso into the penalty area, straight at Onana. Well, he did everything right until the shot. He cruised past three defenders, brilliant close touch control. He even took a breath, steadied himself, but then played a terrible shot straight at the keeper.
Has to score. It's beautiful footwork. Lacazette arrives, he pins Maguire, allows this all to happen. And this is just a tame shot. You're just watching the replay. He doesn't get the ball out of his feet enough to generate a backlift that's going to trouble Onana. But that's a massive chance for Lyon.
He's been in the goals too. Corentin Tolisso, 6 goals in his last 12 games. That is a big let-off for Ruben Amorim as this quarter-final first leg remains 1-1 for the moment. What about events in Glasgow? Let's go to Ibrox. Rangers against Atletico, and this is Ailey Barber.
Still goalless here, but a huge round of applause as the 18-year-old Bailey Rice, the Rangers midfielder, is stretchered off the pitch. He got a knock in the back of the head, and there was real concern over him. They have taken their time with him, but I've just seen that he himself has raised his arms and applauded as well. So it looks like he is all right. But Rangers making a change. Still Rangers 0, Atletico Bilbao 0.
Chance here for Lyon. Georges Mikotadze in the penalty area, but he sent his low shot across the face of goal and wide. That's 2 big chances inside 2 minutes for the hosts, who are beginning to get a second wind here. Lyon, who dominated the first half, are now looking dangerous again, is he?
He's delivered a masterclass this evening of how to take the ball with the first touch, on the move, into your path, drive. He's occupying such a clever position in between Manchester United's Maguire and Mazraoui, just hugging sort of that inside area where no one really knows who to mark him, and he's looked such a threat this evening.
So here's the story tonight across Europe. Lazio beaten at Bodo Glimt earlier on. 1-1 here in Lyon between Lyon and Manchester United. 0-0 in Glasgow between Rangers and Athletic Bilbao. 1-1 in London between Tottenham and Frankfurt. Chelsea won earlier on today. Fiorentina are leading in the Conference League this evening. Rapid Vienna are leading. Betis are leading too. And we can get some of the detail of events in that Tottenham-Frankfurt game from Henry Moran.
Into the final 20, Spurs 1, Frankfurt 1. Spurs coming from behind in the first half. Second half, plenty of chances. We've not seen either side manage to take them, though. It is compelling viewing here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 1, Frankfurt 1.
Same story here in France, compelling at 1-1. Both teams will believe they can go and win this tie from here. Who's going to get the rub of the green? Who's going to take a big chance if it comes their way? Harry Maguire has possession on the halfway line and chased back by Lacazette. He rolls it to the feet of Andre Onana. And Onana, who is positioned a good 10 yards outside his penalty area, rolls it short to Mazraoui on the right-hand side. This is Dallo. Tries to clear but closed down by Tagliafico. That high press from Lyon. is keeping Manchester United at bay again. We will have Manchester United's next game, full commentary here on 5 Live as well. They go to St James's Park on Sunday. It's the 4:30 game. Plenty live football across the weekend on this network. Nottingham Forest against Everton, our pick of the 3 o'clock games on Saturday. You can listen to Arsenal against Brentford at tea time on Saturday. And then we've also got commentary of Liverpool's game against West Ham on 5 Live on Sunday, as well as the Chelsea-Ipswich game on Sports Extra and Wolves against Spurs, which can be listened to online. A free kick to Manchester United here. A free kick for Bruno Fernandes. It's closer to the centre circle than it is the D of the penalty area, but it was a foul on Casemiro that won it, and it's a chance for Manchester United to push bodies forward.
Yeah, central area, Bruno Fernandes over the ball. There's not really any angle for him to work with here. It'll be interesting to see what he does. He's going to find Maguire on this left-hand side. He's peeling off.
Maguire's up there. That's the target, and it's a free header for Harry Maguire. Good header back across the face of goal, but was the flag up? No, I'm not sure. It seemed like everyone stopped there. The whistle hadn't blown, or did it? Maybe the whistle was blown, they took it really quickly. It was a strange one. Anyway, Ugarte wins possession back for Manchester United. Xerxes tries to help him out, but Cherki is in, and he gets it for Lyon. And there's the roar of the home crowd as Lyon come on the attack here. This is Mikatanse, who's been really easy on the eye tonight. Very stylish, diminutive player, but some lovely flicks and touches. Thiago Almada to his right-hand side to Clinton Mata. Lyon holding a position high up the field. Now this could play into Manchester United's hands. We know United like to counter-attack, but here comes Maitland-Niles. Oh, lovely touch to go away from Dorgu. Pulls it back. Lacazette slips. Mikatanse shoots, and it's blocked away. Casemiro with the block, and now proper end-to-end. Esgarnacho comes sprinting towards the area down the other end. Plays it to Bruno Fernandes, and they've messed it up between them. Bruno Fernandes, who just checked his run, Esgarnacho played it to him. Maybe Garnacho took too long, but what a chance that was. It was 3-on-1, is he? And they couldn't get a shot away.
Yeah, wrong pass. Wrong pass from Garnacho. He has to feed Xerxes, who bust a gut to spin round on the overlap. He just needed to entice in and feed it into the space, and Xerxes would have been through on goal. He chose Bruno Fernandes for obvious reasons. We know how good he is, but it was the wrong pass. But what a 60 seconds of football, both ends.
Well, Lyon, if you go back over their last 11 games, they have always scored at least twice in all of those matches. And warning signs for Manchester United and the risk of going 2-1 down, but opportunities too. In what feels a proper cup game, there's the mentality. They both think they can win it. I don't see either of these teams sitting back to defend a 1-1 now, and that's making it entertaining with 20 minutes to play.
Yeah, I think, to be honest with you, I think if any team needs to win, I think it's Lyon. I think they need to push for that second. I think Manchester United are happy to wait.
Here's Cherki. Oh, that's a nice scoop into the box, but Maitland-Niles got his foot underneath it, and he balloons it too high. I think that was one of those caught in two minds. Do I power it? Is the angle too tight? Shall I just delicately flick it? And he sort of done a hybrid, which was ineffective in both ways.
Well, my job is to summarise, but I don't really have any explanation for what that was.
If he could do it again, he would do it all so differently. But after what was a lovely scoop by Cherki, that was strange and obscure from Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Here come Manchester United again. Bruno Fernandes bangs it out to the left wing. Dorgu, good running to get to the ball, challenging with Maitland-Niles. Oh, and Maitland-Niles is adjudged to have fouled him there. The ball bounced quite high. They both challenged in the air for it. Ainsley Maitland-Niles is, peering and questioning with the referee and saying, hang on a minute, what did I do wrong there? But Glenn Nyberg, the Swedish official, has given the free kick to Manchester United. And this is an interesting angle for Bruno Fernandes. He won't shoot from here. It's out by the corner flag, but good angle here to whip one in. And Manchester United, how they would love to take the lead for the first time in this quarter-final. 1-1 it is for now.
Yeah, it's a lovely angle for Bruno Fernandes just to whip this in. Not quite the same angle as the one that Lyon scored from in the first half, but it is in that region.
Well, the crowd here have suddenly spotted something that they're really not happy with, and huge boos and whistles and cheers. I think there's pushing inside the 6-yard box as the players jostle, and someone's obviously pushed forcefully on a Lyon player there. Referee has said a word, but anyway, here comes the free kick. Bruno Fernandes to take. Attacking position on the left-hand side for Manchester United. Here it comes, right-footed. Oh dear, he has blasted it over everyone. That's a waste for Bruno Fernandes.
You know why I'm laughing? Because Bruno Fernandes there, he's about 3 metres away from the touchline where Nemanja Matic is warming up. And I've just watched what Matic has been doing, and he edged closer and closer to Bruno Fernandes, and he actually ended up in a conversation with him just before he took that free kick. You just wonder whether Matic's role over the course of this first game is pretty obvious.
Bit of housery from young Nemanja Matic down there against his old club today. He's on the touchline, but yes, he was very close to Bruno Fernandes as he was preparing to take that free kick. Mason Mount, by the way, has just come on for Manchester United. He's taken the place of Ugarte in the midfield. But for the Manchester United goal, it started with the Bruno Fernandes free kick, which he played in a quite unusual fashion. He kind of blasted it into the goalkeeper, who punched it out, and Ugarte back in and then in off Euro. And maybe Bruno Fernandes there was trying to do something similar to blast it in, but he got under it too much, and that's why it sailed away wide of the target. Play continues. Euro under pressure on the edge of his own penalty area from Lyon. Cherki gives it back to the goalkeeper Onana. Incessant boos and cheers anytime he's in possession after the war of words with Nemanja Matic this week. Gallo has possession for Manchester United on the right-hand side. Plays it back to the edge of his own penalty area to Harry Maguire. Mount coming on. A player who is desperate to get a run of games and to get a few miles on the clock. He is on, playing the left-hand side of the moment, and he might get near to the byline. He's done really well. Oh, now a little flick back to Garnacho. That's really good from Mason Mount. What others might have thought of as a lost cause. He sprinted all the way. He backheeled to keep it in play at the byline. And after all that, Manchester United get an attacking throw. Still 1-1 here.
Yeah, good for Mason Mount, coming on, getting on the ball early, feeling it out. Bruno Fernandes now has dropped in alongside Casemiro, with Ugarte exiting the pitch. Now that gives licence for Bruno Fernandes just to go and dictate play from a deeper space. And it also presents an opportunity for Mason Mount. Again, I'm not saying go and be a hero, but go and get it by the scruff of the neck, make something happen.
17 minutes of normal time to play. Xerxes chases down another lost cause as the ball goes out of play. It's a ball down the left wing, which goes out for a throw into Lyon. And Xerxes is experiencing what Rasmus Højlund had in the early stages of this game, of not having even scraps to feed off. Lyon have it at the back. Clinton Mata rolls it to the goalkeeper Perry. They're going to try and play through the press here. Thiago Almada to Corentin Tolisso. This is good up to the halfway line. Manchester United players turn and start to jog back into their own half. Tolisso has played a nice ball to Tagliafico on the left-hand side. Here comes a cross into the centre, which will win a corner. And while we wait for that, a goal at Rangers, Ailey Barber.
It has come for the visitors. Alex Berenguer, he had 2 bites at the cherry to substitute. He's only just come on the field, but he squeezes the ball past Liam Kelly and gives the visitors the lead. It is Rangers 0, Athletic Bilbao 1.
Thanks, Ailey. Corner to Lyon, 1-1. Here in eastern France. Manchester United defending here. They've brought everyone back into the penalty area. Lyon, who's been an inventive team at their corners tonight. They've played a lot of them short. Let's see what they do here. It's whipped in low, poor delivery. Bruno Fernandes was the first defender, and he's able to head it all the way back to the halfway line.
Yeah, another poor delivery from Lyon. It kind of feels like they've gone a little bit deflated. They haven't found that second goal, and Manchester United have got more of a grip in this second half, and it has somewhat absorbed their enthusiasm a little.
Lyon, who had Wilfried Zaha on loan here earlier on this season before their financial troubles meant they couldn't sign players in January. He only made 6 appearances here. They had the former West Ham player side Ben Rama here. They had Everton's Oriol Mangala here as well. A club which, the rotation of players has been unusual due to this financial problems that they've had, and yet they have the chance of going through to the Europa League semi-final. 1-1 for the moment against Manchester United. Lacazette gives it away on the edge of the United penalty area. Now, can Bruno Fernandes pick a pass here to Garnacho? He can. Here's an opportunity. 3-on-2 if they're quick enough. Garnacho running across the field is going to lose it here. Tolisso swept it away from him. And back to the goalkeeper, Perry, who immediately bowls it out again. Lyon want to finish strongly, as you've been alluding to, Izzy. It means more for them to take a lead into the second leg than perhaps it does for Manchester United.
Manchester United have had moments to punish.
There's a chance to come forward. Virtu has a little look up. Short ball. There's Cherki here. 10 yards outside the penalty area. Gives it to Tolisso. Maitland-Niles stretches, can't receive a pass, and now he's going to sprint up to the touchline to keep the ball in play, but he does keep it in. Dorgu out to keep him company. Maitland-Niles, the former Arsenal man, plays a little 1-2 with Virtu. Chanced across on the right-hand side, blocked by Dorgu. Manchester United get it back, but they don't hold on to it for long. Mount made an error. This is Cherky, rolls it in low. Bruno Fernandes is able to clear away. That was really dangerous. Mason Mount got away with one there.
Yeah, he did. He really did.
As he rides a tackle of Tagliafico, and then Tagliafico comes back for more, and it's going to come back for the first challenge, and the two of them square up to each other. Oh, what's Mount done? He's pushed the opponent away. Why did he do that? He's pushed Tagliafico forcefully in the chest as a couple of little mini skirmishes break out down on the pitch. Mason Mount, who was fouled, who played on, the referee allowed an advantage until he was fouled again, and now he walks away a bit sheepishly and hopes that he's not going to be in trouble with the referee here for a quite forceful push on the opponent.
You know what, I like it. I like it a lot from Mason Mount. He is fouled, he breaks away with the ball, gets caught late, the referee brings it back to the original foul, and I think it was Veretout, the midfielder, in and around Mason Mount. Mason Mount, yes, he pushes him with excessive force, but I'm really glad the referee, he didn't book him unless he's going to now.
He's going to. The yellow card is out.
Well, fair enough, yeah, but I like it from Mason Mount.
Well, just confirm, has he booked him? Yellow card is out, and he wants to talk to both players who were involved in all of that. So yes, confirming it definitely is a yellow card for Mason Mount, and it's going to be a yellow card for Tagliafico as well.
Yeah, fair enough, but you know what, I like it a lot from Mason Mount, because that's what the fans want to see. Yeah, nothing silly, you know, keep your head, but it's a heated game, and it's about that sort of spice about it, you know, the occasion, and I like that a lot.
Tagliafico, the first Lyon player to be booked tonight. Manchester United have had 3 players shown yellows: Dalot, Ugarte and Mount. Here is Joshua Zirkzee, that's a good touch, to Bruno Fernandes. Driving between the centre circle, the penalty area. Plays it to the right-hand side, trying to give Mason Mount the ball on the edge of the box. That doesn't work, but it comes back to Bruno Fernandes again. Then he gives it to Dorgu. Here's Garnacho, what a save! Lucas Perry denies Alejandro Garnacho. Point blank. Brilliant move from Manchester United. Dorgu's cross, Garnacho arriving. Couldn't have done much better there. It's simply a brilliant save.
Oh, the ball in from Dorgu is exquisite. It dips. And Garnacho, any sort of contact, he arrives and it's just straight at Perry, hits it into the floor. It bounces up. It's a brilliant reaction save from Perry. Garnacho has to score.
Cheltenham have taken the lead in League 2. Crew 1, Cheltenham 2. Here comes the Manchester United corner. Played in by Bruno Fernandes. Headed just wide from Harry Maguire. And let's go back to Rangers and Ailey Barber.
Wherein is still goalless. That goal chopped off for an offside in the build-up, but also in the build-up a Rangers handball. So it is now a penalty. And Alex Berenguer, who thought he put Atletico Bilbao ahead, takes the penalty. Right foot. Save! Saved by Liam Kelly. He is engulfed by his teammates. Somehow Rangers are still level in this tie. Incredible drama at Ibrox. It's Rangers 0, Atletico Bilbao 0.
Thanks very much, Eddie. Wow, what a story brewing there. This is 5 Live at BBC Sounds. The Europa League tonight throwing up drama with Manchester United, who've come from behind to currently sit 1-1 with 10 minutes to play here, with Tottenham in action, all square with Frankfurt, with Rangers miraculously still all square with Athletic Bilbao. And here come Lyon on the attack, playing from left to right, all in white. Rayan Cherki allowed to turn by Dorgu, who was aware that Maitland-Niles was outside and he wanted to cover that. Good delivery from Maitland-Niles, but Lacazette can't get on the end of it. Here's Tagliafico back into the penalty area, chested down by Lacazette. Another ball into the box from Tolisso, but this one is blocked on the edge, and Manchester United defending sturdily on the edge of their penalty area here. Big 10 minutes to go, not just in this game, but in Manchester United's season as a whole. This Europa League progression is still there from Ruben Amorim. Can they hold out for these last 10 minutes? Could they even take a lead to Old Trafford for the second leg next week?
Yeah, just going back to that Garnacho chance, it's a really good save from Perry. The reactions, Garnacho, if he makes contact with that and it goes either side of Perry, I think it's in the back of the net. But because it's straight at him off the surface of the ground, he's just had the opportunity to react and tip it over the bar. But his save percentage in the league, in the Europa League this season, has been exceptional, and he's just proved it again there.
Tolisso was caught by Bruno Fernandes there, and Bruno Fernandes immediately raised an arm of acknowledgement that he did kick the opponent. Referee's just coming over to see if Tolisso is okay, and Ruben Amorim is preparing a double change down there. He's going to bring on Kobbie Mainoo, who Manchester United fans have been waiting a long time to see back in action. He hasn't played in the Premier League since the start of February. He did play against Leicester in the FA Cup in February. But Mainoo is about to come on, and Victor Lindelof is going to come on too. He came on for the second half of the Manchester derby on Sunday. We'll be going to Augusta in a moment, but here come Lyon on the attack. A shot by Cherki is off target. It's another chance for the French hosts, but Onana relieved not to have to make a save there. Let's go to Augusta. James Gregg of the Masters,
where Justin Rose sits atop the leaderboard at the moment. He is 6 under par, playing the par 5 15th hole. The world #1, Scotty Scheffler, opened up with a round of 68 on his title defence, and already in the clubhouse is an Englishman by the name of Tyrrell Hatton, who was rounding a 3 under par 69. Rory McIlroy, currently at Amen Corner, he's playing the par 312 at 3 under par.
Thanks very much, James. I'm sure many of our listeners will have seen the video on social media. It's on the BBC Sport website as well, of Rory McIlroy's 3-year-old daughter Poppy taking part in the par 3 competition and landing an absolute brilliant putt. If you haven't seen it, it is worth looking for. Rory McIlroy's daughter probably putting better than he normally does. But coverage continuing on Sports Extra of events at the 89th Masters from Augusta. Right, we are at the business end of tonight's Europa League games. 1-1 here in Lyon. What about Tottenham against Frankfurt? Henry Moran.
Still 1-1 into the final 3 minutes of the 90. Brennan Johnson's blasted over when well placed, and Richarlison has just come on for a first appearance since February.
Thanks very much, Henry. So, Mainoo has come on in place of Garnacho, and Lindelof has replaced Maguire, and Lyon crossing the left-hand side, but it's too close to Onana, and he makes the save.
Cherki just getting involved. He's been a little bit quiet in this second half. He just had that shot a moment ago where he fired over past Onana, but you get to see it back on the television. The first touch, he takes it into his path. It just sets him. It's been, from some of these Lyon players, the level of technical detail has been a joy to watch this evening.
Kobbie Mainoo has only got a few more days left as a teenager. He turns 20 in about 10 days from now. And Ruben Amorim was keen to remind everyone in the press conference yesterday of how young Mainoo still is. You know, he's accomplished so much. He became a regular at Manchester United. He got into the England team and played well at the Euros. But Ruben Amorim was keen to stress that, you know, he's still finding his way. He's still figuring things out. And I think he was trying to just sort of dampen any over-expectation of the effect that Mainoo would have back in the team. But no doubt Manchester United players will be pleased to see him back on the grass tonight as Manchester United come forward on the left-hand side. Dorgu to Xerxes. They've held on to it between the pair of them just on the edge of the box. Casemiro comes to join in. He can't get into the penalty area, so it's back behind to Yoro. Whistles and cheers from the Lyon fans. Manchester United enjoying a bit of possession here on the edge of their opponent's box, but then it breaks down and the ball is walloped clear back down into the Manchester United half again. If you're just joining us, 1-1 here. Both goals in the first half. Thiago Almada from Lyon to put them in front, and Lenny Yoro getting his first ever goal for Manchester United in stoppages ahead of half-time. Here's Izzy Christensen.
Yeah, it's just been, you know, a sensational watch. High energy, high end. So much quality from Lyon in particular. It's just going to be fascinating to see how these next 5 or 10 minutes or so pan out.
Cherki into the penalty area, right-hand side, pulls it back to Lacazette, and he can't hit the target. Too high. He went for the postage stamp corner. And the track record of goal scoring in his career, you would expect Lacazette to at least get that on target.
I've got no idea how you've left Alexander Lacazette in the box, in that half space, with a shot on goal with zero pressure on him. The cutback from Cherki was simple. Has to score.
Well, there's shades of last night in the Champions League, and it was in Paris when Aston Villa were hanging on late on and hoping they could bring a 2-1 deficit back to Villa Park for the second leg there, and Paris Saint-Germain got the late key third goal in stoppages at the end, and Manchester United, how they'd love to score a late goal themselves, but it feels very important now for Ruben Amorim's team not to concede one. Here's Bruno Fernandes on the attack, hangs it across, too high for Dorgu. And this should be cleared away by Cherki. He's in the right full-back position. He's got Ainsley Maitland-Niles in support. Lyon, who are very trusting of each other in defensive positions, they will play and they will pass it even if players are closely marked. And this has worked for them as they break out of their own half with Corentin Tolisso. You can hear the urging of the crowd to keep this run going. Great ball towards Lacazette, but he can't control it. Or say great ball, excellent to get it through, maybe a bit forceful. That made it hard for Lacazette to kill the pace out of the ball and trap it there. But we've only got 3.5 minutes of normal time remaining, and it's still all square in Lyon for Manchester United tonight.
Yeah, it's perfectly poised. Just having a quick glance at the stats, because it feels like in this second half there's been so many chances for both teams that Lacazette's had 2 or 3 since he came on, and that one back from Garnacho, I keep thinking he should have scored.
Lyon, who've only lost one of their last 13 home games here. 1-1 for the moment. Is there to be a late decider tonight? Victor Lindelof, who also came on for Maguire against Manchester City at the weekend, operating in the centre of the 3 central defenders. Lenny Yoro, who's on course here to complete another full 90 minutes as his stature of the team continues to grow and develop. That's a great ball from Lindelof, trying to pick out Bruno Fernandes, nearly did too. Tagliafico is back to block him. Ball does come to Bruno Fernandes, the second. Zirkzee with the header to score, and Manchester United have taken the lead with 2 minutes of this quarter-final first leg remaining. Joshua Zirkzee, it's the first chance that he's had since coming on. It's been set up quite brilliantly by Bruno Fernandes, and Ruben Amorim's team have done it. They have forced their way in front, and there's hardly any time remaining. It is 2-1 to Manchester United in France.
The timing is perfect from Zirkzee. That man Fernandes, he's caused havoc. His forward runs, the second phase, it comes from Kobbie Mainoo, heading the ball back down in. The ball in from Bruno Fernandes is pinpoint. He knows exactly what he's doing. And Zirkzee, what a header that is. Back across, Perry into the back of the net, into the roof of the net almost. What a goal.
It's an excellent header, it really is, from Joshua Zirkzee. His 7th goal for Manchester United. His 2nd in the Europa League, and he's developing a knack of scoring at important moments. He got the goal in Sociedad in Spain last month. But this, we were just speaking a few moments ago about Manchester United hanging on, not conceding a second goal. They've gone and scored a second goal, and suddenly, for all their good work tonight, Lyon are looking at a prospect of going to Old Trafford behind for the second leg.
Yeah, the game's been on a knife edge these last 15-20 minutes or so, and it could have swung either way, and something might still happen. I would not put it past something else happening in this game. But that is a brilliant goal from Zirkzee.
It's another late Manchester United goal. It's the 7th time in the Europa League this season that they've scored in the last 15 minutes of games, more than any other team. Lyon have been dumbstruck by this. They tried to rouse an attack, but the pass is too far ahead of Alexander Lacazette, and that goes out for a goal kick, and Onana will take his time over this as the clock ticks towards the 90-minute mark. We've got 30 seconds of the regulation time to go. There will be some stoppages to be added on, but is Ruben Amorim on the verge of one of his most significant scorelines since becoming Manchester United manager? Let's go to Spurs. Here's Henry Moran.
Full-time, Tottenham 1, Eintracht Frankfurt 1. Porro's first half equaliser not kick-starting the night sufficiently for Spurs as they look to find a valuable winner. They came close. Bergvall and Bentancur hitting the bar in the second half. Fine game this. We'll do it all again in a week. Tottenham 1, Eintracht Frankfurt 1.
Yes, so Tottenham all square on the night. Cheltenham have scored a 3rd goal in League 2. It is Crew 1, Cheltenham 3. Rangers against Athletic Bilbao, Eli Barber.
Still goalless, and we are into 12 minutes of added time. Rangers on a rare attack. They've had to weather an Athletic Bilbao storm in this second half, but so far they have stood up to it despite being down to 10 for most of this tie. It's still Rangers 0, Athletic Bilbao 0.
5 minutes have been added on for stoppages here in eastern France. Mazraoui in possession for Manchester United. Gives it to Dalot, who sweeps in off the touchline on the right-hand side. Low ball to the feet of Manchester United's goal scorer, the second one, Zirkzee. Here's Kobbie Mainoo. He's in the penalty area, trying to dig it out from his own feet, but couldn't get the angle for a shot. Lyon are hanging on here. They really don't want to concede a third. Here it goes in again. Bruno Fernandes looking for Zirkzee. Almost a carbon copy of the goal. This one's better defended as Clinton Mata puts it out for a corner. but you can only admire how strongly Manchester United are finishing this game, and we've not said that very often this season.
Well, now they've got that second goal, what they're doing now, Lyon, is they're going chasing, they're leaving big pockets of space, and Manchester United actually are just able to play in with zero pressure, and they've just crafted that opportunity from dropping deep and playing through Lyon, and now they've got themselves a corner.
All those boos and cheers for Andre Onana, they will be music to his ears with Manchester United in front here. Onana, who was not convincing in how he allowed Lyon score the opening goal of this game, but how impressive has it been to turn it around to lead 2-1 by Ruben Amorim's team, as Perry punches the ball out, but he was being impeded. It's a free kick to Lyon. They're almost out of time. Free kick inside their own 6-yard box. There's 2 balls on the pitch. They need to get it down the other end quickly. We've almost played 2 of the 5 minutes already.
Yeah, Mason Mount just being a bit of a menace on Perry there on that set piece. It's really clever from him. As the balls come back over the top, Mason Mount has just lent into Perry. Referee's seen it, given a free kick.
2-1 Manchester United lead. Foul on Lenny Yoro. He'll take his time getting back up from that. The goals for Ruben Amorim's team from 2 of this season's new arrivals. Lenny Yoro, his first ever goal in Manchester United colours. And Joshua Zirkzee, who, coming on in the second half as a substitute, replacing Rasmus Højlund, I think he'll have accepted he's not going to get many chances. So when that one came his way, he rose, he stooped, he conquered. It was a trademark big centre-forward's header. It was exactly what Manchester United needed.
Yeah, spot on. It was a big guy goal that when his team needed it, and it's given them something really, really valuable to hold on to. And he could have easily sulked, A, being on the bench, and B, there's been a couple of chances where he's made some fantastic forward runs and he's just not got the ball at all. He didn't sulk, he stayed in the game, and he just peeled off and got a brilliant header into the back of the net.
Can the Europa League save Manchester United's season? They are very close to taking a 2-1 lead into the second leg of the quarter-final. It'll be either Rangers or Athletic Bilbao to come in the semis. Lyon hoping that they can shift the dial of the narrative again here before this game reaches its conclusion. Turkey up against Zirkzee in a battle. Zirkzee's out-muscled him. Really good for the Dutchman. Now, what can he do here? Bruno Fernandes to his right. Dorgu to his left. Joshua Zirkzee comes forward, takes a safe pass to Dallo, who now helps it on to Bruno Fernandes. Right, can he deliver in again? Drops the shoulder. Bruno Fernandes into the penalty area, tries to play the 1-2 with Zirkzee. Can't get on the end of it, but Kobbie Mainoo's going to battle with Lacazette. Lacazette's done very well there, using his experience, pulling the shirt by Mainoo. Yellow card for Manchester United's teenager. Free kick to Lyon, but that's of little use to them now as we move towards the 5th minute of stoppage time here.
Yeah, it's good for Mainoo. He recognises that they're really isolated. They're about to transition and counter-attack, and Mainoo, he just makes sure he fouls him in an area where it's not going to affect them off a set piece.
Here come Lyon, attacking the Manchester United penalty area. Snapshot comes in from Mikatadze, but it's not threatening anyone, and it spins away towards the corner flag. Dorgu and Maitland-Niles are there, and Maitland-Niles has done well to keep it active. Back to Thiago Almada, Lyon's goal scorer tonight. Into the feet of Lacazette, lovely back heel, chance of a shot, saved Onana, goes back again, and it's 2-2! Lyon take advantage of another fumble by Andre Onana, and it is Rayan Cherki who reacted first to prod home the rebound in the 5th minute of 5 that have been added on for stoppages. Manchester United's lead is gone. Lyon 2, Manchester United 2. What a thrilling end to this game.
It's been utterly sensational, and I can't help but say I thought something else was going to happen in this game, and it just has, and Onana spilt it. The first thing I'm doing is looking over at the linesman to see if Cherki's offside. He reacts the quickest, it falls into his path. We are going to get a better angle right now. Is he onside? That is the question. The shot is fired in, I think he is, and he just dinks it.
Playing him on, yeah.
He just dinks it over Onana into the back of the net. But that is a spill, isn't it?
Well, let's be clear, it's not the greatest howler you've ever seen, but it is a spill, and at this level, any little error receives such scrutiny. Lyon have scored 2 goals tonight, and both have been as a result of some questionable let's be kind, but at least questionable goalkeeping by Andre Onana. 2-2, there's the final whistle. It feels a missed opportunity from Manchester United. They were seconds away from winning this first leg, but credit to Lyon, they didn't give up. There were some lovely touches in the build-up to that goal. I mean, Lacazette had a flick in there that was world-class. Manchester United conceding late, and it has been costly.
Yeah, it's been a brilliant game of football, and it's perfectly poised for Old Trafford next week. 2 moments of quality. Well, I say 2, there's been a lot of moments of quality from Lyon in particular, and that goal at the end, when you're under pressure, you're under the cosh, can you make something happen? And they did, and they found that equaliser in the last seconds of the game. What a game.
So, Almada gives Lyon the lead. Manchester United turn it around. First Euro for 1-1, then Joshua Zirkzee to give Ruben Amorim's team a 2-1 lead. But Manchester United concede with the final touch of the game. And Ryan Cherki settles this up at 2-2. You know, Mark, tonight we've seen some surprisingly good moments for Manchester United, but we have also seen some all too familiar old problems rear their head. Wow. Onana will find it difficult to keep his eyes on his teammates in the change room. He'll be keeping them down on the floor. 2-2 it finishes here, Mark.
Well, we will come back to that in just a moment. They're still playing at Ibrox. I think Rangers down to 9, Ailey.
They are, Mike. There's been an injury to Dujon Sterling, but Rangers have made all their substitutions. So Rangers are trying to see out this additional time with 9 players, a back 3, no wingers. But listen, it's been a monumental effort so far. It is still Rangers 0, Athletic Bilbao 0.
I think towards the end of commentary, maybe Izzy or Connor, you said questionable goalkeeping. If you're going to shoot your mouth off before a game, then questionable becomes terrible, doesn't it?
This is the trouble. I mean, you know, a right back can miscontrol a ball and it's not as costly, but a goalkeeper, any error, any touch of the ball that gives it to an attacker in the 6-yard box is going to have higher consequences. And Onana, you know, who there's no doubt he's been centre stage tonight, right since he came out in the warm-up, and he had the cheers ringing in his ears. And, you know, those comments from Matic's old teammate in the build-up and speaking about how he's the worst goalkeeper in Manchester United's history. Those are Matic's words, but he really drilled the point home. For him to fumble twice and to allow the 2 goals go in, that is only going to heap the question marks which continue to surround whether he is the long-term solution to be goalkeeper for Manchester United.
Is he?
It's interesting because... So Matic has put up for the press conference pre-game. He chucks around the comments, right? Matic doesn't play tonight. So it's almost like that's premeditated. It's been calculated from Lyon, and it's been perfectly executed, to be honest, because it's exactly what Connor said. It's that glass houses expression, you know, don't throw stones. And Onana, I think he looks a little bit silly tonight, and Matic is probably the one who's going to sleep well.
If you're Onana's teammate, you are fuming with him, aren't you, Aaron?
Yeah, you're fuming. Like I said, they're 2 massive mistakes. Look, he's got to save both of them, in my opinion. And he's cost United today. Like, he was in the headlines before the game, and now he's going to be all over the headlines again. It's 2 huge mistakes, and like I said, he's cost his side tonight.
And where I feel for Ruben Amorim here is, again, I suppose, Izzy, we've seen signs of what he's trying to do. Look, these aren't all of his players, but we've seen signs and shoots, and you could have even seen that when they lost at Nottingham Forest. You could see it in the Manchester derby, and yet he's not going to be fielding questions about Bruno Fernandes or Kobbie Mainoo being back, or Xerxes' goal, or Yoro's increasing composure at the back. He's going to be fielding questions about one individual.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And there's been so many positives, like you say there, Mainoo entering, and in particular, I just think it is such a complex situation. If Ruben Amorim's got a coaching manual right that he's written himself, I don't think he's got to the page yet either of managing the game with the team. Not himself. I think he's very astute in that sense, but I think the players, maybe he hasn't got to that stage yet on the training pitch with the players with enough time to understand how to see the game out, because I think at 2-1 you have to protect that better. I mean, it goes without saying, but they used the ball well, but what they were actually doing in the last 5 or 10 minutes was they were using the ball really well. They were providing depth to suck Lyon out. They were then playing through the spaces that they were evading. And then they ended up finding themselves in Lyon's box, and then they were trying to go and score a goal, which is fine. But what it was doing, it was leaving them open. Again, to give Lyon that little invitation, the impetus, and then the momentum starts to build. And then Lyon, all of a sudden, they go and find a moment of magic again. They build up, and Turkey provides a little piece of magic, and, you know, it's 2-2. It completely changes the dynamic of the tie.
Yeah, Izzy, Connor, Aaron, thank you very much this evening. Final whistle has eventually gone at Ibrox. Ailey Barber.
And it is finished goalless here. A lot of talk about the goalkeeper here at Ibrox as well, because Barry Ferguson made the decision to drop Jack Butland after a number of errors. In stepped Liam Kelly. This is the highest level he's played at club level, and he saved the penalty that kept the scoreline as it finished. A lovely moment as Jack Butland on the full-time whistle went over to give Liam Kelly a big hug, because this is a huge night again for Rangers in Europe. The tie wide open. It looked bleak when Robin Propper was sent off after just 13 minutes, but a huge collective effort weathered anything Athletic Bilbao could throw at them. The visitors thought they'd taken the lead through substitute Alex Berenguer for it to be chopped off for offside. Also in the build-up, though, a handball, so a second chance for Berenguer from the penalty spot, but Liam Kelly denied him. A huge moment, and despite going down to 9 for the last 5 minutes or so after an injury to Sterling, Rangers head over to Spain next week with an opportunity to pull off a result that would surely send shockwaves around Europe. It's finished at Ibrox, Rangers 0, Atletico Bilbao 0.
Elsewhere in the Europa League this evening, then Tottenham 1, Eintracht Frankfurt 1, Lyon 2, Manchester United 2, and Bodo Glimt beat Lazio 2-0. Chelsea won their Conference League playoff quarter-final first leg earlier 3-0 away to Legia Warsaw. There's been one game in League 2 this evening, finished Crewe 2, Cheltenham 3. Justin Rose birdied the 16th here at Augusta National to go 8 under with 2 to play. That gives him a 4-shot lead over Scotty Scheffler and Corey Connors. Rory McIlroy is 3 under through 12. Tyrrell Hatton has also finished his round on 3 under, but Justin Rose has gone way right on 17, so he may have a fight to stay 8 under. All the golf on Sports Extra through to the conclusion of the opening round with myself and the team, and here on 5 Live, Tony Livesey is next.
Chappers, thanks very much indeed. Yeah, we'll have live updates from the golf as we go along tonight, and reaction in a moment to all the dramatic football news tonight. But there's some serious breaking news from New York, so we'll go straight to the news now. Here's Al Tansley.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Tony. Yes, some breaking news. At least 6 people are thought to have died after a helicopter crashed into New York's Hudson River. The BBC's US partner, CBS News, says at least 3 adults and 3 children are believed to have been on board when the accident happened. Footage from the scene appears to show the helicopter floating upside down in the water. We'll bring you more on that in a few minutes' time. Donald Trump has acknowledged what he called transition difficulties after his tariffs caused another day of losses on the US stock market. The trade war between the US and China has intensified, with Washington confirming taxes of up to 145% on Beijing, which has responded with 84% tariffs of its own. The president insisted he can strike a deal with China.
They've really taken advantage of our country for a long period of time. They've ripped us off. All we're doing is putting it back in shape, and I'm sure that we'll be able to get along very well. I have great respect for President Xi. He's been, in a true sense, he's been a friend of mine for a long period of time. We'll end up working out something that's very good for both countries.
A woman in her 30s and a 16-year-old boy have been arrested on suspicion of murder after a man's body was found in Leicester. Emergency services were called to the Braunston Firth area just before 11 o'clock last night, where the man was pronounced dead at the scene. The BBC understands talks between the government and the Chinese owners of British Steel are yet to reach a resolution and are likely to continue tomorrow. The government's offered to buy the coal that's needed to keep its 2 blast furnaces in Scunthorpe operating. The GMB union says it's exceptionally concerned that the offer hasn't been snapped up. These people live near the plants.
Without the steelworks, you lose part of the town, really.
It'd just be a ghost town. every steelworks got.
It's not a popular opinion. Environmentally, I think it'd be much better for the town for health reasons if the steelworks shut down. It would be nice if we could use that land to create as many jobs for something more environmentally friendly.
The steelworks should be renationalised. Should never have been sold in the first place.
And Pulp have announced their first new album for 24 years. More, which will be released in June, is dedicated to the band's late bass player, Steve Mackey.
The Indian Premier League on 5 Sports Extra.
It's launched down the ground, up go the arms, 6 more.
The IPL, most watched tournament around the world.
The biggest names in cricket.
Good bit of glove work there from MS Sterling.
Sam Curran strikes with his second ball.
Virat Kohli flips that one down to fine leg.
Visit the 5 Sports Extra website for a full list of commentaries.
It's straight back over his head, over the sight screen, 6 runs.
IPL. Ask your smart speaker. Play 5 Sports Extra. Tony Lucy
on BBC Radio 5 Live.
Evening all, I'll fill you in on what's coming up on the programme a little bit later. Let's go straight to that developing story then in New York. Al Tansley, who was reading the news there, stayed with us. Al, what do we know about what's happened?
Yes, details still coming in on this. This is thought to have happened about 2 hours ago, 8:15 local time. What we do know is at least 6 people reported to have died in this helicopter crash in the Hudson River in New York. That's coming from our US partner CBS News. They're reporting that the bodies of 6 people have been recovered from the crash site. It's thought that 3 children and 3 adults were on board the aircraft when it went down. The Federal Aviation Authority says it can't confirm yet how many people in total were on board the flight. There are videos circulating on social media. The BBC hasn't verified some of those, but there is footage you can see on the BBC's live page now, which shows rescue boats at the site of this helicopter crash in the Hudson River, and you can clearly see what looks like a helicopter there submerged upside down in the water. So clearly something devastating has happened there this evening. As I say, not many details in much more than that yet, but we will bring you more on them as we have. And the New York City Mayor, Eric Adams, has spoken on this. He's called the crash heartbreaking and tragic.
Al, thank you very much indeed. So we'll keep across that tonight. Joining us now is Dr. Akhil Bhardwaj, who's from the School of Management at the University of Bath and conducts research into aviation safety. Hi, welcome to the show.
Good evening.
It's obviously very, very early at the moment. The speculation initially was that it could be one of those familiar tourist helicopters that ply their trade around New York and over New York. But I'm just reading in the past few moments that Flight Tracker is saying that it had a private owner. But what the footage that appears to show the helicopter upside down, Akhil, that would seem, can we read anything into that at the moment about what might have happened?
I'm afraid not. From what I've read on AP and what I've listened to, it does appear that it came apart. There were eyewitnesses that have said that they heard sounds like gunshots, and someone else has reported that they saw the tail and propeller coming apart. So it's really too early to speculate or to understand what happened. Chances are, in fact, not chances, the FAA and the NTSB will investigate what happened.
Yeah. What is for sure at the moment is that the helicopter had been in the air for 15 minutes before this happened. What level of health and safety as far as craft like this are concerned will be hugely strict, won't it?
Yes. So this is a Bell 206 helicopter. As I understand, they're quite reliable. They have been used for the armed forces. Aviation is fairly well regulated, but it's important to understand that the highest level of regulation and safety is for most commercial airplanes, which is the kind of flights that when you get on a British Airways flight, you fly from Heathrow to New York. Like those are probably the safest types of aircrafts to use. But as you start getting into more private, they are private carriers, if you will, the level of regulation does go down, which is, again, not to say that they're unsafe in any way, but the regulation is not as strict, and perhaps the oversight is not as strict as it would be for more mass commercial transport.
And just a final question for now, just to give us some context to all this. What about the airspace over New York for helicopters? Again, anyone who's been there, and I've done it myself, I've been on these helicopters a few times, the tourist helicopters, at the moment this appears to be a private craft, but how do they manage flight paths in and around New York when there are so many helicopters plying their trade?
Well, it's a crowded airspace, but it's remarkably safe because if you look at the history of air travel over New York and around it, you don't hear incidents of crashes. I mean, there are no mid-air collisions. The one near Washington, for example, that occurred a few months ago. It was well known that was a problematic corridor. There are no similar reports, as far as I understand, about the skies over New York.
We must leave it there because the news is still emerging. That's pretty much all we can talk about for now. Dr. Akil Bardwaj, thank you very much indeed, from the School of Management at the University of Bath, a specialist in aviation safety. So just to keep you up to date then, if you've just joined us with that breaking news from New York, a helicopter has crashed into the Hudson River, and the BBC's US news partner, CBS,
rise, you've got to take them. And I suppose it's the same for any footballer. When you get given the chance, you've got to make sure you take it. And he totally did that tonight. And the guys have covered that. You can't take him out of the team now. I mean, that was a heroic performance from Liam this evening. Not just the penalty save. I felt as though his distribution at times was good. I felt as though he commanded his box very well. One particularly really good take from across. A couple of really good saves in the first half. Even the save that he makes that leads to the goal, terrific, that was then chalked off, or the penalty was given, is a fabulous save. So he's had a brilliant night, and I'm really pleased for him. He's a great guy. Fantastic for him. Young Bailey Rice, we hope that Barry's got some good news for us in the post-match press conference. I felt as though he did himself a lot of favours tonight. Did not look out of place in our huge stage of football to come and play in a quarter-final of a big European tournament. I felt as though he kept it simple. He was disciplined off the ball. His positional sense was very good as well. So those were the two big calls from Barry Ferguson tonight, and both were positive and the right calls in the end when you look at the performance and the result.
Nazy, as good as Rangers were tonight, I felt Athletic Bilbao were quite disappointing.
Yeah, they weren't performing like they have done consistently this season, and I do think next week will be a different game. And yeah, I think they could sense that it was a first leg tie of a knockout stage tournament. That's why there wasn't that real urgency eventually. I do think they should have carried more threat, but that then needs to go to Rangers' tactics. They closed down their danger men extremely quickly. Tavernier throughout the game, Yilmaz and Jefty, in the moments that these were receiving the ball with their back to Rangers' goal, they closed them down with pace, forced them back the pitch, and they were allowing their fullbacks to have comfortable possession. They're more defensive-like players. They're not the aggressive attacking fullbacks that you see in some teams. So the Rangers' tactics stalled them in times, but I do think they weren't at the level they were or they have been this season in the league and also in the European competitions.
Andy, I thought Yanis Hadji was very good tonight. He's not a player you would say would be associated with great work rate, and I'm not being unkind to him. He's a touch player, he's a skillful player. He worked his backside off tonight, didn't he?
He did, but his inclusion in the team wasn't to, I'd imagine, work hard and graph for 90 minutes. I'd imagine it was to be a more creative spark for the team, be an attacking threat. But such was the early sending off. That's what the game demanded for Rangers players. They had to graft, they had to work within their shape, they had to be disciplined, but they had to cover for each other. And I thought that's what Yanis Hadji done ever so well. I thought a couple of times either Yilmaz or Jeffrey got exposed, and it was that little slip pass in behind them. And how many times has Yanis had you there to cover it, see it out for goal kicks, defend the situation? And listen, it's the ugly side of the game that I think fans of your certain club will appreciate when you see, because it would be so easy. How often will we see wingers just stay up the pitch, allow your fullback to go 1v1, and when that ball gets slipped in, it crosses into your box? So I think that extra man defensively, doubling up on Athletic Club's wide players was a huge part of Rangers keeping a clean sheet tonight. But I've got to say, I think James Tavernier as well, again,
you know him well, you know the character, and we spoke about half time. He's had some tough times this season, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. Listen, I think he's been in the SFA team of the year nearly every season since he's came up to Scotland, and I think even by his own accord, they would admit this has probably been one of his poorest seasons individually. He's certainly not had the same output as we're used to in terms of goals scored and assist on the other end, and he's came under a lot of flack. But there's one thing I've always said about James Tavernier: no matter the pressure from outside noise, no matter the pressure from from inside the stadium that the fans put on him, he will never hide. He will always put himself first. He'll always try and get the ball. He'll always try and do the right things. But he gets a lot of criticism for his defending. He's defending at Fenerbahce, and his defending tonight was exceptional. He's playing up against a guy that's valued at £75 million, and such was his performance. I thought Nico Williams was the poorest player on the pitch tonight. I was actually really disappointed watching him. I don't think James Tavernier gave him any change other than probably the wee nutmeg at the end where Nico Raskin gave everybody inside Ibrox a heart attack.
It's the way to play against a player who's really, really quick, though, because if he can't get turned, if he's always facing back towards his own goal, the minute he gets turned and he's faced you up, he can knock it by you and run by you. James Tavernier never let that happen once tonight, and it's experience is what it is. But every time Williams received the ball, James Tavernier was right behind him, not allowing him space to get turned, because he knew that he would be vulnerable in that situation. So it was a really good performance. Andy's right from James Tavernier tonight, as it was from every single player on the pitch for different reasons. It was never going to be a night where Cyril Dessers, the forward players, were going to be doing things creatively to get the crowd on the edge of their seats, but they worked ever so hard. Cyril Dessers' link-up play could have been better at times, but it's so difficult when you're touching the ball maybe once every 10, 15 minutes, and the ball that's up to you, isn't with any real quality on it. It's more difficult than it looks.
That they're so much more important because they're so infrequent, the touches.
Aye, you're right. But it's what it's like though when trying to stay focused, because when you're getting lots of touches of the ball and you're on it, you feel good. But when you've not seen the ball for a wee while and then it comes up, I can understand it. Put it that way. I've been in the situation myself. But again, he worked ever so hard in the game. There isn't a fault in that Rangers performance tonight.
As much as also they've had a couple injuries tonight, next week they'll have Suter and Diamante back, which are massive for them.
Huge. But Nace, you spoke before the game. I was asking you, we've spoken about it so many times, about what the problem is in this Rangers team, why they're so inconsistent. We spoke about we questioned the character and perhaps the mentality. For Barry Ferguson now, that's a standard. That's a blueprint, isn't it? He can show this game time and time again to his players and say you showed all the character in the world there tonight.
But we've said that already.
Exactly.
I know.
That's it. But and even going into Sunday's game, the focus has to be on next Thursday. Next Thursday is so much more important than the game at the weekend. As much as it's a really tough game and one that Rangers fans will want you to win, the focus has to be on next Thursday. And then with the injuries tonight, the quality of what we've talked about in terms of their squad in general and the depth of it, that next Thursday needs to be the priority.
I agree with you, Nazy. I think Barry Ferguson talked about series of changes coming into the game tonight. I think there's got to be a series of changes going up to Pittodrie at the weekend. I think you look at
Hibs will be delighted by that.
But listen, I think the likes of Dessers and James Tavernier and Raskin, these guys that have played the majority of the games, I think this is one they just sit out. I really do. You look at the likes of Igaman on the bench and Bajrami and guys like this. I just think play them at the weekend. Try and keep your players that have played a lot of football as fresh as you possibly can be going into Thursday. And for me, that gives them the best opportunity in the Europa League next week.
Yeah, Bajrami's an interesting one, isn't he? I feel he's not really delivered. You can see the potential's there, but in a Rangers jersey, we've not seen enough, have we?
I don't think so. I think there's been flashes. I think I can remember a goal up at Pittodrie where he's touching, he brings it inside and he scores a really good goal. I think that explosive pace, I think playing in especially the attacking areas in Scotland, having pace is such a key attribute to have. When you've not got it, I think Czerny, for instance, is really good at manipulating the ball and getting past his man. I think he's just lacked that a wee bit. I also think his confidence has dipped a wee bit, because there was a run of games where he put in, was it in the old firm he played as a 10, and he put in a really good performance, and he worked from there at a European game.
He played in 10 in one of the European games. I can't remember which one it was.
Yeah, and again, talking about how good a performance it was, but it's the consistency again. Again, when you're playing against a team here in the league where you've got 70% possession, you need him to produce something that's going to win you the game, especially after European games. That weekend fixture is all about who's got the quality in your team to get you that first goal or the goal that wins you the game. How many times have we played in Rangers teams where the performance after a European game is rubbish, but somebody comes up with a moment of magic that gets you the 3 points?
Just looking at the scores elsewhere, Bodø Glimt 2, Lazio 0, Lyon 2, Manchester United 2, of course. The victor of this tie will play the victor of Lyon against Manchester United. That will be on the 1st and the 8th of May. The other game, Tottenham Hotspur 1, Eintracht Frankfurt 1, and goalless here at Ibrox, but that does not tell the story of this game. There was so much drama in this one tonight. We'll hear from Barry Ferguson live on Sports Sound. Stephen, as I said, you guys all know him well. Are you expecting pride to be the main thing coming through from his post-match comments?
I am, but I mean, I think after Fenerbahce, after the Old Firm, after tonight, we've been there with this Rangers team, and that is the bewilderment of it all. Is that, you know, he can go and say, right, that's the standard, and then they drop below it, and then he can say that's the character we've shown, and then they don't show the character. So you're left scratching your head constantly with this Rangers team, and he'll be immensely proud of the performance, 100%. But can he come out again and say, right, we've set the marker down, this is now what we've, you know, how it's to be, and then they've to go up to Pittodrie on Sunday and they might lose that game, and then it flattens again. So it's just, the guys are right, the focus has to be on next Thursday and getting into that game with your strongest team possible that you can feel that it's available to you. But I don't think just on the back of this tonight, Rangers are now again a good team. Do you know what I mean by that?
We had the fan join us earlier, Tommy. He said that. He said you don't know what to expect week in, week out.
So we've been in this movie.
Hello everyone, welcome once again. Samir SK Football here, bring you Lyon versus Manchester United live stream UEFA Europa League quarter-final football match today, guys. And you're gonna get real on-time scores, real on-time stats, play-by-play